Chapter 1341 Blood-Devouring Wooden Spear. Virtual Cut. In the perfection level space, the holy technique slashed towards the black-eyed holy child. The power of this move is very terrifying. If the black-eyed saint child fails to defend, he will still be severely injured. After all, in essence, even though the black-eyed holy son is stronger than other saints, he has no advantage in defense. Unless, he will be defensive class holy skills. Unexpected. A set of ice armor appeared on the black pupil saint. This is the holy skill, Juyu Bingjia, which is the famous holy skill of the Juyu Bingzu of the Dark Destruction domain, and the black-eyed son is the descendant of the supreme domain ancestor Juyu Bingzu, and is one of many descendants, but talent is enough to rank in the top 5. Click. The Juyu ice armor was unable to stop the virtual slash and was directly chopped to pieces. The residual power of the virtual slash directly bombarded the body of the black pupil, but it was blocked by a set of holy objects. Boom! A set of black armor appeared on the black pupil, and his own breath became very powerful. This is. Yi Qingtian's expression changed, and he recognized the origin of this black armor. He has seen the complete list of sacred objects from the war gate, and there are pictures of each sacred object on the list, and the sacred object on the black-eyed holy child is the He Tianjia ranked 2999th on the list of sacred objects. The defensive effect of He Tianjia is very powerful, but correspondingly, the cost of activating He Tianjia is relatively high, and even the Haitian holy son cannot mobilize He Tianjia for long. Damn, you forced me to activate He Tianjia. The black-eyed saint said angrily. A life-saving thing like He Tianjia is very difficult to mobilize at his current state. Just like Yi Tian wants to mobilize the Forbidden Blade, he also needs to pay a great price. Of course, the price of He Tianjia is not as big as that of Forbidden Blade, but after the event, the He Tong holy child will be weak for a long time, and he must use the extremely precious holy medicine to restore his body, otherwise there will be sequelae. Therefore, under normal circumstances, he would not use He Tianjia. But now there is no way. Yi Tian's attack is too powerful, his Juyu ice armor can't stop it. He didn't want to get hurt, otherwise he would fall easily. Damn, since even He Tianjia has been used, he must be killed today. The black-eyed son quickly sent a message to the other saints. You involved this person for me, and after the event, the treasure on his body will be divided into 90% of you, and I only need 10%. The black-eyed holy son preached. Holy son with black eyes, do you have to use that thing? The other saints were shocked. As saints and members of the Destruction Saints, they naturally knew that the black-eyed saint had a very rare sacred object, and this thing was a treasure bestowed by the Juyu Bingzu to the black-eyed saint. It is said that this sacred artifact can kill the most powerful ancestors of the realm, and no one can stop the holy endowment of the unified state. Once locked, unless they have a very rare life-saving artifact, they will surely die. That's right, I just want to use that holy artifact, that one-time monster. I didn't want to use it, but if you don't use it, are you sure you can kill him? The black pupil asked. The other saints didn't speak anymore. Yi Tian's strength was seen in their eyes. They are not opponents. Even if a few people work together, they can't beat Yi Tian, but they will be killed one by one. Perhaps more than 10 sages are going all out to kill Yi Tian, but they are afraid that they will also lose 5 or 6 sages. The price to pay for this is too high, and no one dares to do it. In fact, they all wanted to escape, not planning to besiege Yi Tian. But now that the black-eyed son said to use that sacred object, they were moved. Okay, I agree. Black-eyed holy son, say yes, you must use that thing, otherwise we will run away immediately, and we will never intercept this saint who came from the dark sanctuary. 1. Black-eyed holy son, as long as you really use that holy artifact, we will definitely contain this holy man. Whoa whoa whoa, a famous saint killed Yi Tian, leaving only one person to contain the light-clothed saint. That person may not be the opponent of the lightly clothed saint, but he can persevere for a while by relying on the sacred object and the life-saving object. In addition, 2 more holy gifts have just arrived. 8 saints besieged Yi Tian, and the black-eyed saint tried to mobilize the sacred object not far away. It will take time to mobilize that sacred object, otherwise the black-eyed son will not let these 8 saints besiege Yi Tian. Boom! The 8 great saints all attacked with their holy skills, covering this area, and there was no way to hide. Yi Tian motivated Jin Chenjia, and then used the holy skill, holy armor, which was a double-layered defense. And the holy armor holy skill has the body augmentation, which is comparable to the perfection level holy skill. Therefore, this round of attacks by the 8 great saints were all endured by Yi Tian. Yi Tian locked onto a seemingly slightly weaker saint, and directly used the sacred skill Shen Shen, and launched a soul-sacred attack on him. Although the holy man has a soul treasure, it is not a soul-sacred object. He was struck by the sacred skill, and his soul suddenly shook, and he couldn't even control the sacred object on his body. It was at this time that Yi used the holy skill Void Slash. Puff! The holy man was struck and cut off his body and body. He was severely injured, and the thing of life hung his vitality, otherwise he would be the master. But he can't bear the second blow. Once he bears it, he will surely die. Take me away. The severely wounded sanctuary urged a sanctuary who had a good relationship with him and shouted loudly. Immediately, the holy man grabbed him and fled quickly, not caring about the black-eyed son at all. However, they could not escape. Yi used the holy technique Aurora, and his speed skyrocketed many times in an instant, easily catching up with the severely injured holy man. This time, Yi did not use the virtual slash, and performing the virtual slash twice in a row would cause a huge burden on the body and would need to wait for a while. But he used the golden thread holy technique, which didn't put much burden on the body. Puff! A golden thread ripped apart the severely wounded saint, killing him instantly. The second saint has fallen. Hey Tong Holy Son, are you alright? If we delay, we won't be held back. 1. A holy man shouted. Nobody wanted to die, and neither did they. But now, 2 saints have fallen. All right, the black-eyed son responded. I saw at this time, a wooden stick appeared in front of the black-eyed son. This wooden stick was held in the hand of the black-eyed holy child, and began to absorb the power of the black-eyed holy child's blood. It gradually became sharper, and it turned from a wooden stick to a wooden spear. This wooden spear is full of destructive aura, as if it can kill everything. It does not belong to the holy relics on the holy relic list, and its level is average among holy relics, but it is a supreme holy relic in the hands of the United Realm, and it can explode a terrifying attack, but once its strength is exhausted, this piece of relics are scrapped. It has a name called the Blood-Devouring Wood Spear. Chapter 1342 Use the Forbidden Blade to kill the black-eyed son. The blood-devouring wooden spear will devour the power of the bloodline of the black-eyed holy son, which will cause his bloodline to become weak, which is more serious than physical weakness and is a sequelae that directly affects his potential. Unless he uses a special ancestral medicine designed to restore his potential, and after a long period of time, it is possible to restore the power of his bloodline. It can be said that if the Hei Tianjia and the blood-devouring wooden spear cannot be killed one after another, it will be a big loss, and even he himself will fall. But can Yi be able to stop the blood-devouring spear? Absolutely unstoppable. Even if his strength increases several times or even more than 10 times, he can't stop it. The black-eyed son has full confidence. The holy endowment of the Unity Realm can never stop the blood-devouring wooden spear, and the blood-devouring wooden spear can kill any holy endowment at the Unity Realm. Holy Son of all laws, be careful. The light-clothed saint saw the blood-devouring wooden spear, her face changed drastically, and she quickly reminded. Yi also saw the blood-devouring wooden spear and felt the danger of death. Based on his own words, even if there is a sacred object like Jin Chenjia, coupled with the sacred skill of the sacred armor, it cannot be stopped. You must use the forbidden blade. Yi secretly said. Go to hell. The black-eyed holy son killed Yi and the blood-devouring wooden spear locked Yi. No matter how fast Yi was, it would be difficult to get rid of the blood-devouring wooden spear's lock. Just after the blood-devouring wooden spear of the black-eyed son was about to stab Yi took out the forbidden Yuan blade. Immediately, 560 Yi activated the forbidden Yuan blade, and his aura immediately soared to a level comparable to the weaker to the stronger domain ancestors. If it is divided by the limiters, Yi combat power has already soared to the level of 4 limiters at this moment. Holy skill, extreme power. Extremely powerful holy skills can greatly increase one's own strength, and the power is terrifying to break through defenses. Even if this holy skill has only reached the Dacheng realm, it can perfectly fit with the forbidden Yuan blade and burst out terrifying combat power. Break. Yi held the forbidden Yuan blade and slashed towards the blood-devouring wooden spear of the black-eyed son. Boom! The forbidden blade and the blood-devouring wooden spear collided, and the two flew out respectively. At the same time, the shock wave directly sent the surrounding saints flying. Far away, the lightly clothed saint recognized the forbidden blade. This is the forbidden Yuan CJFI blade. The holy son of Wanfa actually used the forbidden Yuan blade. The lightly clothed saint was shocked. A sacred object like the forbidden blade is extremely tasteless, but it is also a real life-saving object, and it has a huge increase in strength. The sequelae of using the forbidden blade far surpassed that of the blood-devouring wooden spear. Although the blood-devouring wooden spear affected the foundation, it could at least be recovered with the ancestral medicine. And if the forbidden blade is used, the sequelae will be big. Not only can it be irreparable, but once it takes a long time, it will directly die. Because of this, geniuses hardly dare to use the forbidden blade, otherwise it will be more painful than death. Even if a sacred object like the forbidden blade was given to her, she would not dare to use it even if she died. Holy Son of 10,000 Laws is too impulsive. The lightly clothed saint sighed. But in that case, if you don't use the forbidden blade, you'll be sure to die. She also didn't know if Yi Tian did the right thing, but if it was her words, she didn't have the courage. Forbidden blade, you are ruthless. The black-eyed Holy Son is also stunned. The other party dares to use the forbidden blade, even more ruthless than him. However, the black-eyed Holy Son still did not give up, pouring the power of blood into the blood-devouring wooden spear, and a terrifying blow broke out in an instant. Boom! The blood-devouring wooden spear knocked back Yi Tian, and the power of this blow broke Yi Tian's defense, and a trace of power passed through the forbidden blade and penetrated into Yi Tian's body. Ha ha ha, you are dead. The black pupil said. However, he didn't feel well either. He was directly hit hard by Yi Tian's forbidden yuan blade. But he is waiting for Yi Tian to fall. Once Yi Tian falls, it will all be worth it. However, he was disappointed. Although Yi Tian's body was cracking, at this time he used another holy skill, immortality. Holy skills are immortal, recover. The power of the holy technique circulated throughout the body, quickly repairing Yi Tian's injury, and even the power of the blood-devouring wooden spear was suppressed by the power of the holy technique, which could not help Yi Tian at all. The holy skill is immortal. You have even mastered this holy skill. It is impossible. How can you have so many holy skills? The black-eyed holy child can't believe it. Die. 1. Yi Tian didn't give up the opportunity, and he used the Aurora holy technique to instantly approach the black pupil holy child. Bang! The blood-devouring wooden spear in the hand of the black-eyed saint shattered and was completely scrapped. After all, the blow just now exhausted most of his bloodline and the power of the blood-devouring wooden spear. Today's blood-devouring wooden spear is only a piece of waste. How can it withstand the blow of the forbidden blade? The blood-devouring wooden spear was scrapped, and the black-eyed Holy Son could no longer resist the blow of the Banyuan blade, and the vitality of his body was completely annihilated. The black-eyed saint has fallen. As soon as the black-eyed son died, Yi Tian put away the treasure on his body. Seeing the fall of the black-eyed saint, the other saints were stunned and fled desperately one by one. Yi Tian wasn't going to let them go, so he used the Aurora holy technique, caught up with one of the holy endowments, and easily killed the opponent with one blade. Just when he was about to catch up with another saint, the sequelae of the forbidden blade was about to strike. He didn't dare to use it anymore, otherwise this replica body wouldn't be able to support it anymore. Wouldn't the treasure on his body be cheaper for others? As a result, Yi Tian immediately cut off the connection between the forbidden blades and stopped using the forbidden blades. At the same time, he swallowed a lot of holy medicine and used his holy skills to recover from his injuries as soon as possible. In a short time, Yi Tian's injury recovered, but the foundation of this replica body was completely destroyed. Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, are you all right? The lightly clothed saint flew over and asked. Fine. Yi Tian said indifferently. There was no depressed expression on his face, which surprised the Qingyi saintess very much. After all, the foundation is scrapped, and it is almost difficult to be promoted to a higher level in the future. Yi Tian is still so calm, which is too shocking. She did not ask about Yi Tian's situation, for fear of stimulating Yi Tian. Many thanks to the son of Wanfa for saving his life. The lightly clothed saint thanked. It's nothing, I didn't actually save you. The saints of the Dark Destruction Domain saw me and couldn't let me go. Even if I came to save you, they would send someone to hunt me down. Yi Tian said lightly. After a few chats, the two separated. Yi Tian flew to another uninhabited forest, and then began to organize his harvest here. Especially the treasures contained in the corpses of the saints, he has great expectations. Chapter 1343 The Incomplete Ancestor Law, the harvest is too great. This time, Yi Tian killed a total of 4 saints, and from these 4 saints, he obtained a total of 7 sacred relics, which shows how profound the saints are. 7 holy relics, even the war gate would not be willing to give him. The parents of these 4 saints know that they have fallen, and I am afraid they will be very angry. Yi Tian thought to himself. However, he is not afraid of revenge. Even if it is the ancestor of the supreme domain, there is no way to calculate his identity across the dark forbidden domain. Moreover, the supreme ancestors of the dark destruction domain did not dare to break into the dark sanctuary, otherwise they would be courting death. The dark sanctuary has 10 ancestors, and even more than 10 ancestors. In front of the ancestors of the supreme domain are also ants. How dare they break into the dark sanctuary to find his trace? Moreover, the ancestors of the supreme realm never imagined that he was not a person from the dark sanctuary, but came from a small realm. Therefore, he is not worried about his own safety at all. In addition to the holy relics, Yi Tian also found a lot of holy medicines, and even found 13 ancestor medicines. The value of these ancestor medicines is unimaginable. In addition, there are many other resources. What is this? Yi Tian found a special treasure in the inner space of the black-eyed sun. This treasure was placed at the very core and was obviously very precious. This treasure was banned layer by layer. Obviously it was not an ordinary treasure. Yi Tian broke the ban and took out this treasure. It is a piece of paper, but it is not ordinary paper, but a piece of inheritance paper. At the beginning, Yi Tian obtained the inheritance of the primordial saint body, which is also this kind of paper. However, the inheritance paper obtained today seems to be the top inheritance paper. This kind of inheritance paper is very expensive, and basically records the very precious inheritance. Out of curiosity, Yi Tian entered the inheritance paper to see what inheritance was. Boom! A word appeared in Yi Tian's consciousness. Ancestral law. Yi Tian was shocked. No, it's not the first ancestor law, and it's an extremely incomplete first ancestor law. Yi Tian recognized it. The inheritance here is only 1/10,000th of the ancestor's method at most, and the flaws are still very large. Such an ancestor's method is not enough for a supreme ancestor to break through to the ancestor level. If you really practice such an ancestor method, the final achievement will be at most half a step ancestor, and once you embark on the path of the ancestor, if you do not perfect this ancestor method, you will never be able to step into the ancestor realm. But for those supreme ancestors who have given up hope, it is better to cultivate such an incomplete ancestor method and achieve half-step ancestors, which is stronger than the supreme ancestors. The only pity is that in the future, he will never be able to become the ancestor, or the hope is countless times slimmer. And in the future, even if the luck is overwhelming, and a new and complete ancestor method is obtained, there is no way to break through to become the ancestor. Therefore, unless in desperation, generally the supreme ancestors of the domain would not practice this incomplete ancestor method. But even so, the value of this incomplete ancestor law is extremely high. For example, Yi Tian can completely use this incomplete ancestor method to cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state. The first ancestor of the royal law. Yi Tian comprehended for a while, and then completely understood the nature of this incomplete ancestor law, which is the first ancestor law of Yu. For those who possess the sacred gift of defense, this kind of ancient ancestor method of imperial defense is very precious. No wonder the black-eyed holy sun has a strong defensive ability. He has practiced a variety of defensive domain techniques, and has cultivated to the extreme level. Under the superposition, it is no less than a small-level defensive holy technique. I was still wondering, how did he, having practiced so many extreme-level domain techniques, now I understand. With this incomplete ancestor technique, it is not surprising that the strength of the black-eyed sun has completely crushed other saints. However, it is completely cheap now. I am. Yi Tian said excitedly. Having obtained the incomplete version of the first ancestor method of Yu, he can cultivate the holy skill of holy armor to a perfect state. This place is not suitable for cultivation, wait until you go back. Yi Tian put away this incomplete version of the first ancestor method of Yu Ji, and then checked other treasures. But there is no treasure that can compare to this incomplete version of the ancestor's method of Yu Ji. Domain of dark destruction. Juyu Bingzu opened his eyes and sensed something. What is it that makes me so nervous? He wanted to calculate something, but he couldn't calculate it. Obviously, it happened outside the dark destruction domain, so he couldn't calculate it. Could it be that something happened to my son Haitong? Juyu Bingzu panicked. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong, so he immediately left his palace, shuttled into the dark forbidden area, and then crossed a long distance at an extremely fast speed, and soon came to the outside of the holy golden realm. I have seen Juyu Bingzu. I have seen Juyu Bingzu. I have seen Juyu Bingzu. For flowers. Several supreme ancestors who were in charge of managing this genius's entry into the Holy Golden Realm greeted Juyu Bingzu one after another. Juyu Bingzu, why are you here suddenly? A supreme sister is good, Road. I'm worried about my son. Juyu Bingzu said truthfully. Ha ha ha, Juyu Bingzu, your heir, the black-eyed holy son, is very powerful and has a holy object to protect himself. How can things happen so easily? There is no danger in the holy gold world, but it has entered two dark places. The little bugs in the sanctuary are nothing more than a threat. A supreme ancestor smiled and said. Juyu Bingzu was not at ease and did not refute, but waited silently here. The Holy Golden Realm was built by the ancestors, so what happened, they could inspire deduce it, they could only wait for those geniuses to come out. 0. In the blink of an eye, millions of years have passed. On this day, the Holy Golden Realm is about to close. Whoa whoa whoa, one after another genius came out from the Holy Golden Realm. Juyu Bingzu kept looking for the genius, but he never found his son, Haitong. Soon, almost all the geniuses came out. Less 4 saints. All the ancestors of the Supreme Territory were shocked. This is a big deal. What about my son? Juyu Bingzu stared at the saints who came out and asked. He suspected that these saints had joined forces to kill his son, otherwise his son would not be able to come out. At this time, a holy man said, I have seen Juyu Bingzu, the Black Pupil Holy Child has fallen, and the Qingmeng Holy Child, the Mullet Holy Child, and the Ancient Blood Holy Child have also fallen. A saint in the dark sanctuary moved his hand, the opponent's strength is too strong, and many of our saints are not opponents. The black-eyed saint even used the black sky armor and the blood-devouring wooden spear, to no avail. If we can't get rid of the other party, we will be killed by the other party. If we hadn't escaped quickly, we would have fallen too. Impossible. Juyu Bingzu didn't believe it. Once the blood-devouring wooden spear is used, no one can stop the holy endowment of the United States, and there is no doubt that he will die. But he had to believe the other saints who said so. Damn, Juyu Bingzu was very angry. He was angry not only that his son had fallen, but also that the first ancestor of Yuji was lost. This time, he lost too much. Chapter 1344 Change the ancestral law for holy skills. Juyu Bingzu loves his son very much. Although there are many sons of his, and there are many whose talents surpass those of the Haidong holy son, he loves this son so much that he even bestows holy things like Heitianjia. In addition, he also bestowed the incomplete version of the ancestral law of Yuji to the Haidong holy son, allowing him to rely on this incomplete ancestor of the imperial palace to practice defensive domain techniques, so that his life-saving ability was greatly increased. He felt that the black-eyed holy son could not fall, so it was no big deal to put the incomplete Yuji ancestor method on the black-eyed holy son. Moreover, the black-eyed holy son also has the blood-devouring wooden spear on his body, and it is almost impossible to be born into the holy gold world. But it never occurred to me that he was born. Moreover, if the incomplete ancestral method of Yuji is lost, he is equivalent to losing the ancestral method of imperialism. The ancestor law is different from the general inheritance. If it is not fully practiced, the ancestor law must be originally 5 or 6-0 to continue to comprehend, otherwise there is no way to comprehend and practice. Moreover, once someone has practiced an ancestor method, the second person will not be able to break through to the ancestor realm with the help of this ancestor method, and he must wait for the ancestor to fall before he can hope to be promoted to the ancestor. If not, wouldn't all of them become the first ancestors if there is a power that has an ancestor law inheritance? Then the ancestor law is not so precious. What is really precious are the ancestor methods left by the fallen ancestors. As for the ancestors who are still alive, even if they really leave the ancestor methods, they can at most be used to assist cultivation, comprehend holy skills, or use the ancestor methods to understand the path of the ancestors. Try creating your own ancestry. But under normal circumstances, the living ancestors are not willing to leave the ancestors' method. In that case, wouldn't it be possible to show the path of the ancestors, and it would be easy to expose their weaknesses and defects? Therefore, the ancestor law is extremely rare. And the incomplete ancestor method of Yuji, whose ancestor has already fallen, is the ancestor method without a master. You can use this incomplete ancestor method to break through to the half-step ancestor, its value is too precious. Juyu Bingzu has never thought about whether he wants to enter the half-step ancestor, but he is not reconciled, and he is afraid that one day he can't help practicing the first ancestor method, attacking the half-step ancestor, and this is the incomplete ancestor method. Son, this way you won't be tangled up. Because of this, the fall of his son, coupled with the loss of the ancestor law, made him so angry. Who is the sanctuary of the Dark Sanctuary? Juyu Bingzu asked. The saints of the Dark Destruction Domain showed Yi Tian's appearance, but as for Yi Tian's identity, they don't know. After all, there is no information exchange between the Dark Destruction Domain and the Dark Sanctuary. A new sage, how can they know each other's identity? Damn, one day, I will find you and kill you. Juyu Bingzu remembered Yi Tian's appearance and said angrily. Came back. Yi Tian found that he had left the Saint Gold Realm and returned to the human realm. As for the Saint Gold Realm token, it has long since disappeared, and it was obviously recovered by the Saint Gold Realm, which is a one-time token. But this time the harvest is too great, that token is too worth it. A large number of holy medicines, as well as many ancestor medicines, holy objects, and a broken ancestor method. I am afraid that even the invincible domain ancestors will be jealous of Yi Tian's fortunes. Certainly. This time, he also exposed a lot of secrets, such as many holy skills are exposed. Even if the people in the Dark Destruction Domain know it, they dare not come to the Dark Sanctuary after all. Unless it is a war period, it will have no effect on him. But the light-clothed saint knows. It means that the light-clothed saint will inform the Saintess Door. Maybe the Saintess Door also knows. Of course, the light-clothed saint may not say it. After all, he saved the light-clothed saint's life. Never mind, use those holy medicines and ancestral medicines to improve your family's cultivation base. Yi Tian planned. Subsequently, Xiao Yu, Yi Yu, Yi Xingchen, and Yi Xingyu obtained a lot of holy medicines, and even one of them got an ancestor medicine. Some holy medicines also help to promote the integration of the Forbidden Way and the Fleshy Way, and they will be able to break through to the perfection of the Unification Realm with their cultivation, and then they will be eligible to hit the domain ancestor level. And Yi Tian didn't take any ancestral medicine. His cultivation base has reached the level of normalization now, and taking the ancestral medicine is a waste. He is going to use the method of the ancestors of incomplete imperialism to cultivate the holy armor to the perfect state. Years have passed. Yi Tian's holy armor holy skills are constantly improving. In the blink of an eye, nearly 1,000,000 years have passed. On this day, Yi Tian cultivated the holy armor to the perfect state. So far, Yi Tian has 3 holy skills of perfection, namely the holy armor holy technique, the golden thread holy technique, and the virtual slashing holy technique. However, Yi Tian was still dissatisfied with only 3 perfection holy skills, and he wanted to comprehend more perfection realms. I have the first ancestor method of space and the incomplete version of the first ancestor method of Yu. I can completely practice other space saint techniques and defense saint techniques, so that I can add a few more perfection saint techniques. Yi Tian thought to himself. However, the inheritance of holy skills is very precious, and he can only obtain the inheritance of holy skills from the war gate. But how can he obtain the inheritance of holy skills? Before, in order to cultivate him, Zanman gave him a lot of holy skills. But now that the holy war is over, it is unlikely that he will ask for holy skills from the war gate. If everyone wanted the inheritance of holy skills, then the inheritance of holy skills in the battle gate would have been empty long ago. Then I can only use the incomplete version of Yuji's ancestor method to exchange holy skills. Anyway, this thing is not very useful to me. It can only be used to assist in understanding the defensive holy skills. After the defensive holy skills are completed, it's not very useful to me, and it's a good choice to trade out to get the benefits. Yi Tian secretly said. This day, Yi Tian came to the Zanji Tower and applied to see the fire mark Zanzu. As for the ancestors of the Blood Gang territory, they are not qualified to participate in such a transaction. Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, do you want to see me? Fire mark Zanzu asked. If it was an ordinary holy son, he would never meet, unless he took the initiative to find each other. But Yi Tian is not an ordinary holy son, he is a holy son. Tian is very enchanting 5.8, and he is also a saint, and there is a great possibility to grow to his level in the future, so he came to see Yi Tian. Fire mark Zanzu, I want to get a lot of sacred skills from Zanman. Yi Tian said. At this time, the fire mark Zanzu was a little unhappy and felt that Yi Tian was too greedy, so he couldn't help saying coldly, there are a lot of holy skills inherited, although you are the first holy son, but you don't have this qualification. Yi Tian smiled and said, I won't get the holy skill inheritance from the war gate for free, I'm going to exchange something for it. What? Fire mark Zanzu didn't think Yi Tian could come up with anything good. What about the ancestor law? Yi Tian said lightly. What? The fire mark Zanzu's expression changed drastically, and he couldn't calm down. The ancestor law, that is what he dreamed of. Chapter 1345 The Deal with the War Gate. The purpose has been achieved. Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, do you have the law of the first ancestor? Fire Mark Zanzu asked quickly. Yes, but it is the incomplete ancestor law, very incomplete, only 1/10,000th of the complete ancestor law. Yi Tian replied, it's only 1/10,000th of the incomplete ancestor method. Haowen Zanzu frowned, this value is much worse than the complete ancestor method. However, he quickly laughed at himself. If it is a truly complete and masterless ancestor law, then it is not something he can keep. Even once it is spread, a war might start. Of course, even if it is only 1/10,000th of the incomplete ancestor law, its value is unimaginable. The incomplete ancestor law is almost always without a master, and rarely is the incomplete ancestor law with a master. Moreover, the incomplete ancestor law should not have been successfully cultivated, otherwise the incomplete ancestor law would not exist. Therefore, such incomplete ancestor method is a new hope for some supreme ancestors who have already given up the ancestor realm. If they are used to exchange 29 for some holy skills, they can naturally exchange for a large number of holy skills. This is unacceptable. Doubt. I need to identify the incomplete ancestral art. If it is true, Zanman will give you a lot of holy skills, how about it? Fire Pattern Battle Ancestors. It is good, Yi Tian agreed. Although the first ancestor law of incomplete Yuyu is very precious, Zanman is after all one of the top 10 holy gates, and Fire Mark Zanzu is also one of the deputy gatekeepers of Zanman, and is a very powerful supreme domain ancestor, so he will not covet him. The ancestral law of incomplete imperial control. Therefore, he is not worried that his incomplete ancestral law of Yuyu will be taken away by the Fire Mark War ancestor. Immediately, Yi Tian took out his incomplete imperial ancestor method and handed it over to the Fire Mark War ancestor. Fire Mark Zanzu took a look at the first ancestor of the incomplete imperial law, and quickly recognized it. It's the incomplete ancestral law of the royal family. Fire Mark Zanzu murmured. He deduced this ancient ancestor method of Yuji, and based on his current state, he can roughly calculate whether the original creator of this ancient ancestor method is still alive. Soon, the game was over. Unowned. Fire Mark Zanzu breathed a sigh of relief. If there is a master's thing, then the value of this ancestral method of imperial defense is too much, and it can only be used to assist in understanding the defensive holy skills and defensive domain techniques, but no one dares to use the master's incomplete ancestral method of imperial defense. Hit the half-step ancestor, not to mention how high the success rate is, even if it succeeds by luck, it will be controlled by that ancestor. This incomplete ancestor law is very valuable, I can call the shots and give you 30 holy skills, and there are no restrictions on the types. Fire Mark Zanzu said. At this time, Yi Tian also put forward his own request. Master Fire Mark Zanzu, I want to exchange some space holy skills, time holy skills, and defensive holy skills, and I hope to hand over the incomplete Yuji ancestor law later. Zanman, in order to prevent me from taking away the ancestral law, I can practice in the Zanji Tower without leaving the Zanji Tower. Do you want to practice a few more perfection level defensive holy skills? Fire Mark Zanzu roughly guessed Yi Tian's purpose. Yes, Yi Tian nodded. A saintly gifted person can cultivate at most 2 holy skills of the same kind. The more you practice, the more difficult it will be greatly increased, and you want to rely on the perfect holy skills to enhance your foundation and potential, and let your body transform again and again. Only 2 of them are effective. Even if you have mastered the 3rd defensive sacred skill, and you have reached the perfect state, it will not be of any use to you. Otherwise, wouldn't any one of the saints be able to cultivate more of the same kind? Sacred skills. But in fact, few sages practice multiple sacred skills of the same type, and at most 2 sacred skills of the same type. Fire Pattern Battle Ancestors. Can only 2 holy skills of the same type be effective? Yi Tian really doesn't know this secret, he only knows that the more holy skills are completed, the more small transformations will occur, and the more benefits will be gained by advancing to the ancestors in the future. But it never occurred to me that only 2 of the same type of holy skill could be effective. But if you think about it carefully, the 10 major holy gates may also be able to get the incomplete ancestor law. If any holy gate gets such an ancestor law, and the holy endowment in the door happens to correspond to the holy endowment, wouldn't it be possible let a holy man keep practicing that type of holy skill? In this way, how many holy skills must be cultivated to perfection, and how terrifying the potential. But in fact, this situation does not exist. But Yi Tian doesn't care. 2 perfection defense holy skills, plus 2 perfection space holy skills, plus 1 perfection golden thread holy skill, so they have collected 5 perfection realms, definitely far surpassing others. At this moment, Fire Mark Zanzu said a piece of good news. Holy son of 10,000 laws, it's a waste of you to exchange this incomplete ancestor method for 30 holy skills. I can suggest you another choice. There is actually an incomplete ancestor method inside the war gate, which is the ancestor method of power. You can choose to exchange enlightenment. Zanman can give you enlightenment for the incomplete ancestor method of power, and help you cultivate the 2 holy techniques of power to a perfect state. After that, Zanman will take back the ancestor method of power. But this way, as soon as you come, you can only exchange 10 holy skills. What do you think? Fire Mark Zanzu suggested. Willing. Yi Tian was overjoyed. This is simply shocking. Really. The Fire Mark Zanzu clearly understood in his heart. He guessed that Yi Tian possessed a kind of holy gift of strength, because Yi Tian had chosen to practice the ultimate holy skill before. It might be a kind of holy gift of power. So this time is also a small test, and the test came out all at once. If Yi Tian doesn't have a kind of holy gift of strength, then 560 doesn't need to make such a choice, because if the ancestor method of strength is useless to him, why choose to comprehend? Yi Tian also reacted quickly, but did not panic. Knowing will also know. Anyway, he is not afraid of revealing anything. After all, he is the first son of Zanman, and Zanman protects him almost. Next, the other supreme discussions of Gazuman went away, and they might even despise Zanmanzu. In a word, Yi Tian is not clear about what happened next. Not long after, the Fire Mark Zanzu sent a message that Zanman agreed to temporarily lend the law of the first ancestor of power to Yi Tian for enlightenment. And Yi Tian can also obtain 10 holy skills. So, Yi Tian immediately chose a defensive holy skill, called the Golden Body Holy Skill, which is also a relatively popular holy skill. He also chose a Space Holy Skill, called the Air Escape Holy Skill, which was the most popular. One of the most powerful escape skills, it is also extremely powerful when used to hunt down enemies. He also chose a Time Sacred Skill. He wanted to choose 2 Time Sacred Skills, but the War Gate only has 1 Time Sacred Skill, which is also the more helpless thing. This Time Holy Skill is called the Eternal Holy Skill, and it can fix the time, and its power is very terrifying. In addition, he also chose a Soul Holy Skill, a Fire-based Holy Skill, an Ice-based Holy Skill, a Wood-based Holy Skill, an Earth-based Holy Skill, a Water-based Holy Skill, and a Dark Holy Skill. At this point, the top 10 holy skills have been selected. Chapter 1346 7 Perfect Holy Skills, Breaking Through the Ancestors of the Domain. Fire Mark Zanzu, I still have a batch of treasures in my hand, can I deal with them to Zanman? Yi Tian contacted the Fire Mark Zanzu. What treasure? Fire Mark Zanzu asked. It's some holy relics and special treasures. Yi Tian said. Saint. The Fire Mark Zanzu was a little surprised. Afterwards, Yi Tian took out the holy relics that were obtained from those several saints, as well as some illegible treasures. All of them were taken out. The reason why he wanted to dispose of these treasures to Zanman was because he was afraid that the ancestors of the Supreme Territory had left some marks on these treasures. If they were traced through these treasures, he would be in trouble. Of course, this possibility is not very large. But he still didn't dare to keep these treasures, and he didn't dare to give them to his relatives, so he naturally handed them over to Zanman. In the future, if he is strong, he can obtain holy relics with his own strength. Therefore, it is the best choice to dispose of these sacred objects and secret treasures. You killed the sanctuary of the Dark Destruction Domain. Fire Mark Zanzu guessed and asked. Yes. Yi Tian nodded. Very good. Fire Mark Zanzu smiled happily. Killing the saints of the Dark Destruction Domain is equivalent to beheading the future Dark Destruction Domain powerhouse. These sacred objects are of great value, and the value of these secret treasures is not cheap. What do you want to exchange? Fire Mark Zanzu asked. I want to change some holy skills, can I? Yi Tian asked. He wouldn't despise this kind of holy skill. Nature is so much better. It is good. Fire Mark Zanzu agreed. Next, Yi Tian exchanged from the battle gate to the 6 holy skills. This day, the Fire Mark War Ancestor handed over an incomplete inheritance of the first ancestor of power to Yi Tian, and asked Yi Tian to cultivate in the war realm and not leave here. After all, this transaction involved 2 incomplete ancestral laws, and the value was too high. If Yi Tian really ran away, the loss of the battle gate would be too great. Therefore, Zanman must also be cautious. Yi Tian did not leave the war realm, but what the Fire Mark Zanzu and others did not know was that Yi Tian in the war realm pagoda was Yi Tian's cloned body again, and his body was still in the human realm of the mysterious taboo realm. In the following days, Yi Tian began to comprehend the Golden Body Holy Skills. With the help of the ancestral law of incomplete Yi Tian's comprehension speed in the golden body holy technique was very fast. Getting started, Xiaocheng taught. Millions of years have passed, and Yi Tian has finally cultivated the golden body holy technique to the perfect state. Afterwards, he began to practice extremely powerful holy skills. Originally, the holy technique of extreme strength was in the realm of great achievement, so in just over a million years, with the help of the ancestor method of incomplete power, he cultivated the holy technique of extreme strength to the perfect state in one fell swoop. After that, Yi Tian began to practice another holy skill of power, the holy skill of tyrannical power. After the completion of the domineering holy skills, Yi Tian handed over the two incomplete ancestral laws to Zanmen. In the days that followed, Yi Tian practiced the space holy skill, the holy skill of space escape, and it took millions of years to cultivate it to the perfect state. By this time, Yi Tian had mastered the 7 perfection holy skills. The 7 perfection holy skills are the golden thread holy technique, the virtual slashing holy technique, the holy armor holy technique, the golden body holy technique, the extreme power holy technique, the domineering holy technique, and the empty escape holy technique. The 7 perfection holy skills, what a terrifying achievement this is. Even if the ancestors of the supreme domain knew that Yi Tian had practiced the 7 perfection holy skills, they would be jealous. The 7 sacred skills have been completed, and the body, soul and forbidden power have been transformed 7 times, which is much stronger than before. If I break through to the ancestor level, the improvement will be huge. When I step into the ancestor level, even if it has just broken through, the strength is probably enough to easily crush the ordinary supreme ancestors. Yi Tian thought to himself. He is not going to continue to look for opportunities to complete the cultivation of other holy skills, so there is no need. When the 7th holy skill was completed, he felt that the transformation was not great, and the effect was not very good. No matter how he cultivates the holy perfection skill, he can only improve the effect a little, and then he doesn't know what chance he has to master another perfection holy skill, so there is no need to waste time. Then get ready to break through. 1. Yi Tian decided. This day, human world, Yi Tian began to retreat to comprehend the mysteries of the ancestors of the domain. In fact, at his level, he has already understood the secrets of the ancestors of the domain. In addition, he has comprehended the 3 ancestor methods. Even if 2 of the ancestor methods are relatively incomplete, he can still let him. He has a weak understanding of the path of the ancestors, and this weak understanding is beyond the mystery of the ancestors. Therefore, Yi Tian comprehended a little, and completely understood the key point of the mystery of the ancestors of the domain. Domain ancestor has a profound understanding, the forbidden way and the fleshly way are 100% integrated, and the forbidden body is also 100% complete. Yi Tian has completely satisfied the requirements of being promoted to the domain ancestor. So ever, Yi Tian began to impact the domain ancestor level. To impact the realm of the ancestors of the domain is to transform the body into a domain body, the forbidden power in the body is transformed into the forbidden domain force, and the soul is completely transformed to a higher level. Break me. The shackles that hindered the ancestors were easily broken by Yi Tian. Yi Tian's aura was soaring rapidly, and his body, soul, and forbidden power were rapidly transforming. In a short time, Yi Tian completely broke the shackles. However, it will take a long time to break through and want to stabilize the realm. During this period of time, he was in the process of transformation. Years passed, Yi Tian's strength became stronger and stronger, but the transformation still did not end. It was not until the 300,000th year that Yi Tian finally completed his transformation. At this time, he is the real ancestor of the domain. Very strong, Yi Tian felt his own strength. He is now at least dozens of times stronger than before, and he can easily suppress his previous self. Even if he held the forbidden blade when he was in the One Realm, he might not be able to beat him now. Moreover, as soon as he broke through the domain ancestor level, Yi Tian found that the holy skill had become more powerful, and it would not take too much power to use the holy skill all the time. He didn't dare to use holy skills all the time, but now he doesn't have to worry about it. It is conceivable that, at the ancestor level of the domain, he continued to display a sacred skill, and the strength he exerted was so terrifying. King Li's. Yi Tian did not go out immediately, but continued to practice. He is going to raise his cultivation base, and the cultivation base of the domain ancestor level is the domain body. The domain body is divided into domain body entry, domain body minor, domain body major, and perfection realm, which is the division of cultivation. Once the domain body reaches the perfect state, it can undergo the first transformation. When the domain body is transformed, it will become a higher level domain body. This domain body is called the elite domain body. At this time, it has entered the elite domain ancestor realm. The elite domain body starts to cultivate from the entry, and then cultivates again to the perfect state. After the second transformation, it becomes the top domain body. The top domain body is not difficult, but the Xeon domain body is difficult. The reason why it is difficult for the domain ancestors of the divine sky realm to be promoted to the supreme domain ancestor is that there is no way to transform the top domain body into the supreme domain body. Although Yi Tian has just made a breakthrough, if he wants to cultivate the ordinary domain body to the perfect state, he is afraid that it will take a long time, but now he has the ancestral medicine, and one ancestral medicine is enough to raise his cultivation to the perfect state of the ordinary domain body. Chapter 1347 1/10 of the ancestor medicine, the ordinary domain body is complete. Yi Tian took out an ancestral medicine and refined it little by little. Boom! The domain body is rapidly progressing under the energy tempering of the ancestor medicine, which is many times faster than the self-cultivation. This cultivation speed is too fast. Yi Tian said in shock. No wonder the ancestral medicine is so precious. If there is no ancestral medicine, he estimates that it will take hundreds of millions of years to improve his cultivation to the perfect state of the ordinary domain body. Moreover, he still needs to rely on the time array and many ordinary resources to be able to count the number of people. Within 100 million years, it will be promoted to the perfect state of the ordinary domain body. But now it is different. With this ancestral medicine, within tens of thousands of years, he will be sure to refine the ordinary domain body to the perfect state. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of years have passed. At this time, Yi Tian has refined 1/10 of this ancestral medicine, and his cultivation has been raised to the perfect state of the ordinary domain body. I underestimated an ancestral medicine, my foundation is so deep, 1/10 of the ancestral medicine has raised my cultivation to the perfect state of the ordinary domain body. If it is refined for other ordinary domain ancestors, I am afraid it can make hundreds of domain ancestors, and even more domain ancestors have elevated their cultivation to the perfect realm of ordinary domain ancestors. 1. Yi Tian thought to himself. 560 ordinary domain body is complete. Yi Tian did not continue refining the ancestor medicine, because his cultivation base has been raised to the current limit, and if he continues to practice, he needs to let the ordinary domain body undergo a transformation and evolve into an elite domain body. But Yi Tian was after all a cultivation base that used the ancestral medicine to improve. The cultivation base is not very stable, and the domain strength is not very pure. Therefore, he must stabilize the realm and pure domain power. Moreover, his soul still hasn't kept up with his cultivation, and he still needs to constantly temper his soul. In this way, he can continue to attack the realm of the elite domain ancestors, and will not cause the situation of unstable foundation. So, Yi Tian did not continue to practice, but went out. During this period of time, Yi Tian's wife and son have also made great progress, and they have entered the domain ancestor level, and with the help of the ancestor medicine given by Yi Tian, they have raised their cultivation bases to the perfect level of ordinary domain bodies, that is, ordinary domain bodies. Yuzu's perfect state is only one step away from the elite domain ancestors. And their holy body is relatively powerful. Each of them has reached the realm of great achievement, which is very close to the level of perfection. Therefore, their strength is much stronger than the ordinary domain ancestors in the realm, which is enough to compare with some weaker elite domain ancestors. For them, this kind of cultivation strength is enough to protect themselves in the Daoshan boundary. In fact, Yi Tian can also do his best to cultivate his family, but it is not necessary. He won't interfere too much in their cultivation now, and it is up to them to reach what level they can improve. Except for occasionally giving some resources, he doesn't care about anything else. Anyway, if he is there, even if he encounters a strong enemy in the future, he can protect his family. This day, a half-step domain ancestor of the Juji Legion came to report the news, saying that the human race discovered that many domain ancestors were coming from the dark forbidden area one after another and entered the mysterious forbidden world. And there are also some more realms in the Daoshan realm. It is obvious that the ancestors of the realms brought the realm from the realm of the gods to the realm of Daoshan at a huge cost. It seems that the ancestors of the realm of the gods in heaven are really migrating in large numbers, and even these realms have brought them. In the future, the situation in the realm of Daoshan will be completely changed. Yi Tian muttered, a dark forbidden area near the Daoshan boundary. A huge domain is slowly approaching the Daoshan domain under the futuo of a giant tortoise. The strength of this giant tortoise is not weak, but a forbidden creature, and it is a tamed forbidden creature. Its strength is comparable to the top domain ancestor. Otherwise, there is no way to easily support a domain to move forward in the dark forbidden domain. When this giant tortoise appeared in the Daoshan boundary holding the domain boundary, it attracted the attention of many people. It's the Fugi domain in the legend of the gods and heavens, and this is the domain of the ancestors of the feathering domain. Fugi CJFI domain has been wandering in the dark forbidden area near the realm of the gods, and I didn't expect to come to the realm of gods. You can't do it if the ancestors of the ascension domain don't come. Once the divine sky realm falls into annihilation, the surrounding territories will be chaotic, and you must stay away from the divine sky realm. Moreover, if you don't escape, there will be a lot of forbidden creatures at that time, and he is not an opponent. Besides, he really survived the annihilation of the realm. Without the realm, he can't stray in the dark forbidden realm with his realm. Now, relying on the taboo realm and the realm of the gods, he can follow the coordinates. If the heaven realm is gone, he can't even lock the coordinates, so he is really lost. It is rumored that the strength of the Yuhuan domain ancestors is infinitely close to that of the strongest domain ancestors, and the strength far exceeds that of other top domain masters. Whether it's true or not, it's not an existence we can provoke. The top domain ancestors such as the Yuha Yuzu ancestors appeared one by one. The Shenshin realm has 10 top-level ancestor-level overlords, but in fact these 10 overlords are not real overlords, just overlords on the bright side. The existence of the God Heaven realm is too old. In fact, the ancestors of the Supreme Realm may have been born in history, but they left the God Heaven realm early and entered the Dark Sanctuary. Of course, it is impossible to say whether those Supreme ancestors are dead or alive. And for so long, some of the ancient top domain ancestors fell into a deep sleep due to boredom, and naturally no one knew their existence. Therefore, domain ancestors who are stronger than the 10 major overlords will naturally exist. For example, Yuha Yuzu is one of them. With the passage of time, there are more and more domains in the Daoshan domain, and there are even many domain ancestors united to build domain ancestors. For a time, the Daoshan area became very prosperous, ushering in a prosperous world of cultivation. But no matter how powerful other realms are, they are not comparable to the mysterious and taboo realm. The Xuanshu taboo realm has the largest number of domain ancestors, and because of the Battle Realm Tower, all the domain ancestors will occupy a small place in the Xuanshu taboo realm, so that they can easily enter the Zanji Tower. The Battle Realm Tower is a place where you can connect to the Dark Sanctuary, where you can even get the inheritance of the Dark Sanctuary. This is a great opportunity for the top domain ancestors. This day, Yi Tian has received an invitation from a group of top domain ancestors, and everyone who can participate in this meeting is a top domain ancestor. However, he is an exception. Because he had killed the top domain ancestor of the God Heaven realm at the level of unity, he was naturally qualified to receive this invitation. More importantly, Yi Tian is a person from the Daoshan realm, and is regarded as a representative of the Daoshan realm. Originally, Yi Tian didn't really want to participate in such a meeting, but when he thought about his roots here, his family was here too. Unless he wiped out all these domain ancestors, he would definitely deal with them in the future, or his family would have to deal with them in the future. Deal with. Therefore, it is really necessary to participate in such a meeting. Chapter 1348 Divide the Taboo World, Idan and Hasho 39, T agree. The meeting chose Xuanshu Taboo Realm. After all, this is the most important taboo realm in Daoshan realm. The location they chose was in an attic in the Forbidden Void world where the War Realm Tower was located, and the top domain ancestors came. Soon, Yi Tian also came. As time passed, almost all the top domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm were present. Yi Tian observed it, a total of 226 top domain ancestors came here. The number of such top domain ancestors is much more than the top domain ancestors on the bright side of the gods, and there are obviously many ancient top domain ancestors among them. Of course, this is definitely not all the top domain ancestors of the gods' realm. In the God Heaven realm, there are still many top ancestors who have entered the Dark Forbidden realm. However, they are now the domain ancestors of the Daoshan realm, and they are also considered to be the top group of domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm. Yi Tian glanced at it, and could roughly see the mutual status of these top domain ancestors. Among them, the most powerful should be these 6 top domain ancestors. Ascension Domain Ancestor, Jinding Domain Ancestor, Windai Domain Ancestor, Years Domain Ancestor, 10,000 Realms Domain Ancestor, and Destruction Domain Ancestor. Their strength is higher than that of the top 10 top overlords in the original Divine Sky Realm, and no one knows what their specific strength is. But these 10 top domain ancestors all have the opportunity, they have practiced the holy body one by one, and everyone has practiced one or more domain techniques to the extreme realm, so the combat power is very strong, very close to the weaker Xeon domain. Ancestor. Before breaking through to the ancestors of the domain, Yi Tian's strength should be comparable to them, unless he uses the Forbidden Blade, he can't kill them at all. At this time, many top domain ancestors arrived, and the meeting began. The first to speak was the ancestor of Wanjiu. The strength of the ancestor of Wanjiu is very powerful, and he vaguely has the title of the first powerhouse in the realm of the gods. It is rumored that he has 10,000 worlds in his body, and he can mobilize the power of 10,000 worlds. Of course, this is the cultivation system that he figured out by himself. It is very imperfect, and it is difficult to break through to the level of the ancestors of the strong domain, but it can make his strength extremely strong. The ancestor of Wanjiu opened his mouth and said, "The purpose of this meeting today is very simple. Everyone has come to the Daoshan realm and is a part of the Daoshan realm. Although the Daoshan realm is smaller than the Shenshin realm, the site as it is still very large, and such a large site should be redivided. Yes, it is indeed necessary to divide the site, otherwise, it is not good to have a conflict with each other." Fengyan Yuzu also followed. In addition, some sites in the Xuanshu taboo world should also be given to us. Those weak sects occupy so many sites, it's just ridiculous. The ancestors of the year suggested. Yes, the territory of the Xuanshu taboo world has to be redivided. Many top domain ancestors agreed to divide the territory of the Xuanshu taboo world. Strictly speaking, the territory of the Xuanshu taboo realm is of high value, and the value of any continent is higher than the value of a territory in the Daoshan realm. However, it was too late for them to enter the Xuanshu taboo realm, so the territory of the Xuanshu taboo realm had already been divided up. Therefore, if they want to occupy those territories, they must destroy or subdue those forces. But in this way, it will inevitably break the pattern of the mysterious world of taboos. Of course, there are no strong people in the Xuanshu taboo realm. Currently, the most powerful force in the Xuanshu taboo realm is the Black Wind Mountain, but there are only a few elite domain ancestors in the Black Wind Mountain, and the strongest is undoubtedly Yi Tian. Because of this, they invited Yi Tian, and most of what they just said was for Yi Tian. As long as Yi Tian agrees, they will immediately attack those forces in the Xuanshu taboo realm, thus occupying the territory of the Xuanshu taboo realm. At this time, many top domain ancestors looked at Yi Tian intentionally or unintentionally, waiting for Yi Tian's reply. If Yi Tian had been silent, they would have acquiesced. If you want to carve up the territory of Daoshan, as long as it doesn't involve the territory of the human race, I won't care. But if you want to carve up the territory of the Xuanshu taboo world, I'm sorry, I don't agree. Yi Tian finally spoke. Wanfa Yuzu, what do you mean? Destruction domain ancestor said coldly. That's the meaning of the words, you are not qualified to divide the territory of the Xuanshu taboo realm. To put it bluntly, you are all outsiders, and many territories in the Xuanshu taboo realm are currently owned by our human race, and the forces in other areas are basically turning to the black function or the Terran have allegiance, and you want to divide the mysterious and taboo world, which is tantamount to provoking me. For flowers. Yi Tian's voice was also cold. When the Heavenly Emperor Palace was still there, Haifeng Mountain and the Heavenly Emperor Palace occupied the most territory, and some other upper three-level heavenly sects occupied other sites. But with the demise of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, the Black Wind Mountain is the dominant force, and many forces have surrendered to the Black Wind Mountain one after another. And the human race is getting stronger and stronger, and a large number of half-step domain ancestors and some domain ancestors have been born. Moreover, the human race is multiplying very fast, and the human world has long been insufficient. Today, the people of the human race are all over the mysterious and taboo world, and many sites are actually controlled by the human race. Therefore, Yi Tian would not agree with the plans of the top domain ancestors to occupy the mysterious taboo realm. Point 0. As for the sites outside the Xuanshu taboo realm, although those sites are large, but there are not many resources, he will not care too much. The ancestor of Wanvayu, if you want to occupy such a large territory of the Xuanshu taboo realm by yourself, it is too greedy. The ancestor of Wanjiu said coldly, I heard that your strength is very strong, and you will kill it when you return to the realm. After reaching the top domain ancestor, I don't know how you did it and what means you rely on, but even if you are promoted to the domain ancestor level, no matter how strong your strength is, it is difficult to compare with the strongest domain ancestor. Top-notch top domain ancestor combat power. And we have several people here with such combat power, you can't compete with us alone. Boom. 10,000 Realms Domain Ancestor, Years Domain Ancestor, Destruction Domain Ancestor, Jinding Domain Ancestor. The breath of these 4 top domain ancestors burst out and locked Yi. It seems that he is ready to attack Yi at any time to threaten Yi. You're going to do something to me? Yi asked with a smile. Wanfa Yuzu, if you agree, we will not do it, otherwise you will understand. The ancestor of 10,000 realms threatened. You know too little. Yi sighed. Just when everyone was puzzled, Yi started. Ban. As soon as this holy skill came out, this piece of void was completely blocked. And Yi stood up, the breath all over his body shocked all the top domain ancestors. Chapter 1349 Kill the 3 top domain ancestors in one hit. Yi breath is very strong, although breath does not represent strength, but such a powerful breath should not be radiated from an ordinary domain ancestor. Many top domain ancestors present felt the crisis from Yi. And as Yi blocked the void, the atmosphere was dignified to the extreme. Wanfa Yuzu, you still dare to do it, do you really want to fight against us? The ancestor of 10,000 realms said coldly. Yi sneered, it's not that I fight against you, but you have to fight against me. It's you who want to be clear, not me. 1. The ancestor of myriad realms wanted to break Yi ban on the 5 elements. Boom. I saw that the domain technique of the ancestors of Wanji was bombarded on the ban on the 5 elements, but the ban on the 5 elements was not broken, and it was still intact. The ancestor of 10,000 realms frowned. He originally thought that Yi method of sealing the 5 or 6 zeros was just an ordinary domain technique, but he didn't expect that his perfect realms 1 domain technique attack did not shake the forbidden barrier of the 5 elements. Looks like I underestimated you. The ancestral way of the 10,000 realms. At this time, the 4 domain ancestors, Wanji Yuzu, Destruction Yuzu, Years Yuzu, and Jinding Yuzu, transmitted each other's voices and decided to do it. Boom. Wanji Yuzu and other 4 Yuzu ancestors shot together, ready to take Yi with the strongest strength. The 4 top domain ancestors mobilized the domain devices on their bodies one after another, and all the domain techniques at the extreme level attacked Yi. It can be said that their 4 top domain ancestors shot together. I am afraid that only the strongest domain ancestors can compete with them. At this time, Yi used the perfection level holy skill holy armor, and the attack of the 4 top domain ancestors fell on the holy armor, and as a result, even Yi defense was not broken. Not hurt. The 4 top domain ancestors were stunned. They didn't release water, almost all attacked with all their strength, and the 4 of them shot with all their strength. Even if they themselves could not block it, such an attack would inevitably be injured or even severely injured. But it never occurred to me that Yi did not dodge, but confronted their attack head-on, but they did not even break Yi defense. What a terrifying defense this is. It's definitely not a domain technique. Even if it is a defense domain technique at the extreme level, it is impossible to have such a strong defense. The ancestor of 10,000 realms is inconceivable. He didn't know the existence of holy skills, so he couldn't understand Yi methods, but he guessed that Yi defensive ability must be a method above domain skills. Seeing that Yi easily defended their attack, the 4 top domain ancestors no longer attacked, but wanted to reconcile. After all, Yi can easily defend against their attacks, and his strength cannot be weak. It is not good to be the enemy of Yi and it will even suffer. If Yi strength is much stronger than them, they might be in danger of falling. Therefore, they do not want to continue the attack. The ancestor of Wanjayu said. The ancestor of Wanvayu, just a few of us were just joking. Joke. Yi condensed a golden thread in his hand. Said. Then let me make a joke with you too. While speaking, Yi waved his hand, and a golden thread slashed towards the myriad realm ancestor and the other 4. Not good. The expressions of the ancestors of 10,000 realms changed, and they all activated the defensive domain devices on their bodies, and they tried their best to activate the defensive domain techniques. Moreover, they wanted to avoid Yi golden thread attack at the fastest speed. However, Yi golden thread holy skill has reached the perfect state, and even if there is no increase in the body protecting holy skill, its formidable power is extremely terrifying. Under the lock of holy skills, it is difficult for them to escape. Puff. The 4 top domain ancestors were cut open by the golden thread holy technique one after another, and even the domain equipment on their bodies was like a piece of paper that could not stop the blow at all. The first is to destroy the ancestors. He was the first to be hit, his body disintegrated like mud, and his soul also collapsed. In an instant, destruction domain ancestor fell and died. Next is Jin Ding Yuzu, who claims to be invincible in defense, and other top domain ancestors can't break through his physical defense at all. However, apart from defense, his methods are average. But under Yi Tian's golden thread holy skill, his defense is useless and useless at all. The golden thread holy skill cut open his body instantly, and the ancestor of Jin Ding Yu fell and died without any resistance. The ancestors of the years are walking in time. He tried his best to use a time domain technique to change the passage of time and try to avoid the holy technique. But if it is other domain techniques, he can really dodge easily. But under the power of the holy technique, the time domain technique of the ancestors of the age domain is too weak to affect the passage of time of the holy technique at all, and the time domain technique is instantly broken. Before the ancestors of the years could escape, they were cut in half by the golden thread holy technique, and they also fell and died. The ancestor of 10,000 realms could not stop the golden thread holy skill, but he once accidentally got a life-saving thing. When the body of the ancestor of Wanjiu collapsed and his soul was annihilated, the life-saving thing protected his soul and reshaped his body. The life of the ancestors of Wanjiu was saved and survived. But there is only one life-saving thing. He is alive now, but if Yi Tian attacks again, he will definitely die. Killing the ancestors of Jin Ding Yu, the ancestors of years and ancestors of destruction in one blow, these are the top 3 ancestors. If the ancestors of Wanji did not have a life-saving thing to protect his life, he is known as the most powerful ancestor in the realm of God. The existence of the strong will also be instantly killed by one blow. The ancestors of Wanviu spare your life. The ancestor of 10,000 realms recognized it very well. He had to kneel on the ground and said, Yi Tian's strength is far beyond his imagination. Even if he has broken through to the realm of the most powerful domain ancestors, it is estimated that he is not Yi Tian's opponent. Isn't Yi Tian just at the realm of ordinary ancestors? Why is his strength so terrifying? This is not normal. The other top domain ancestors were also dumbfounded. How powerful are the Jinding domain ancestors, the destruction domain ancestors, and the years domain ancestors? It is estimated that it only takes one move to kill the average top domain ancestors. They are far superior to the ordinary top domain ancestors. Above the ancestors of the domain, there is almost an invincible existence in the realm of the gods. But such a few invincible existences were easily killed by Yi Tian like cutting vegetables -5.8. Suddenly, the top domain ancestors lowered their noble heads, not daring to look directly at Yi Tian. Get up. Yi Tian has not killed the ancestors of Wanjiu, and he is not the one who kills. Under the blow just now, the ancestor of 10,000 realms was able to keep one of his own, which proved that he had the qualifications to live. From today onwards, what should the Xuanshu Tabu realm be like? As for the territory of Daoshan, I won't care about the rest of the territory except for the Terran and High Function. You can occupy them at will, but not much. Make slaughter. In short, if you dare to pay attention to the Xuanshu Tabu world, then the fate of these 3 top domain ancestors today will be below you. Yi Tian announced. Yes. Many top domain ancestors responded, and no one dared to disagree. Chapter 1350 Ancestral Alliance, Alliance Leader. The law of the weak is the rule of the world, and Yi Tian cannot break this rule. Even if he orders, the forces where these top domain ancestors are located will no longer occupy the territory of other forces, but there will definitely be secret methods. At that time, other forces will be even worse. Unless he really destroys these forces, he will never be able to put an end to this kind of thing. Moreover, he destroyed these forces, as well as other forces. In short, he could not completely change the situation in the Daoshan boundary. Whoever is strong will occupy more territory, and whoever is weak will either give up territory or rely on other powerful forces. Yi Tian can guarantee the stability of the Xuanshu Tabu realm, but there is no way to guarantee the stability of the Daoshan realm. Therefore, he will allow these forces to occupy the territory of Daoshan. As long as it's not too much, he won't bother. But once it goes too far, he will still intervene. Carving up the territory is only one of the discussion points of this meeting. Many top domain ancestors also have a discussion content, that is, the formation of the Ancestor Alliance. There are also ancestral alliances in the realm of God and heaven, but as they migrated to the realm of Daoshan, the former sites and treasures are gone, and many rules are not suitable for the current Daoshan realm. Because at 29, the ancestral alliance naturally needs to be rebuilt. Establish the ancestors of Wanvayu. We want to form the ancestors alliance and set a rule, which will help the development of the Daoshan boundary. The ancestor of Wanjayu opened his mouth and said, "Can." Yi Tian nodded and agreed. The leader of the ancestral alliance will be the ancestor of Wanvayu. 1. One by one the top domain ancestors asked. When Yi Tian was here, they wouldn't dare to be the leader of the ancestral alliance, nor were they qualified to be the leader. Yi Tian also knew that this kind of ancestral alliance had nothing to do, and it was estimated that a meeting would only be opened after a long time, so it would not waste time, so he agreed to serve as the leader of the ancestral alliance. Subsequently, many top domain ancestors began to set regulations. For example, the ancestors of the domain cannot arbitrarily take action on the creatures under the ancestors. Once they are discovered, the ancestors will directly punish the ancestors. The ancestral alliance of the God Heaven realm also had this rule, and it was precisely because of this rule that the ancestors of the Hao Hai Sea did not dare to attack High Function, lest they be caught by the ancestral alliance. It is precisely because of this rule that the Taoist ancestors can develop, and they will not worry about being killed by the domain ancestors one day. When encountering foreign enemies, they help each other to resist foreign enemies. For example, against the devourer, against the forbidden creatures and so on. Subsequently, these rules and regulations were formulated, and brand new rules of the ancestral alliance were formulated, and they were passed on to all the ancestors of the Daoshan realm one by one. Any ancestor of the domain must have a name in the ancestral alliance, and cannot participate in the tasks or affairs of the ancestral alliance, but must be named and know the regulations of the ancestral alliance. Since the establishment of the ancestral alliance, the Daoshan boundary has stabilized. Moreover, the forces established by the top domain ancestors continued to expand their forces, and some non-domain ancestor forces kept giving up their territory. In the end, they could only rely on those top domain ancestors or merged with each other, becoming small organizations, barely surviving. The human race is growing faster and faster. With Yi Tian as a backer, they hardly have any enemies, and they are even many times faster than Haifeng Mountain's development speed. In the beginning, the only domain ancestor of the human race was Yi Tian's family. But gradually, as Yi Tian built many treasures of practice, and even brought out treasures and opportunities that were beneficial to breaking through the ancestors, some geniuses of the human race broke through to the ancestor realm with the help of Yi Tian's opportunities. For example, some of the outstanding members of the Juji Legion became the domain ancestors one after another, and some of the guardians of the human race temple also became the domain ancestors. However, it is very difficult for the human race to give birth to an elite domain ancestor, and it takes a long time. After the ancestral alliance was established, Yi Tian didn't care anymore, it wasn't a big deal anyway, and he didn't need to come forward. After returning to the human world, he began to retreat and practice. In terms of cultivation, he has reached the perfect state of the ordinary domain body, and he cannot complete a transformation and be promoted to the elite domain body in a short period of time, thus becoming the elite domain ancestor, but he can continue to improve in other aspects, such as holy skills. When he was in the One Realm, it was very difficult for him to cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state, and he had to rely on the ancestral method to cultivate a sacred skill to the perfect state. But now, he has broken through to the ancestors of the domain. Even if there is no ancestor law, he still has the hope of cultivating a sacred skill to the perfect state. Moreover, he has obtained a lot of holy skills from the War Gate, and some have not yet started to cultivate. Since then, Yi Tian began to cultivate this holy skill, such as the time holy skill of the eternal holy skill. With the passage of time, a holy skill was cultivated by Yi Tian to the Dacheng realm, and it didn't take long. A holy skill could take at most 100,000 years to cultivate to the Dacheng realm easily. This is one of the changes brought about after breaking through to the domain ancestor level. If he was still at the level of the unity, he would not be able to comprehend holy skills so fast. In the days that followed, Yi Tian mainly specialized in cultivating the holy body holy technique, which was a rare augmentation type holy technique. If it was cultivated to the perfect state, it would have a huge effect on other holy techniques and his own strength. Therefore, cultivating this holy skill is the most helpful for improving strength. Of course, even if you have broken through to the realm of the ancestors of the domain, you can rely on yourself to cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state. The difficulty is also very huge, and it will take a long time. In a blink of an eye, millions of years have passed. Yi Tian has made some progress in the sacred technique, but still has not cultivated it to the perfect state, which shows how difficult it is to cultivate a sacred skill to the perfect state. Of course, if he were given another few million years, he would probably be able to cultivate this holy skill to the perfect state. But this day, the ancestors of the Ancestral Alliance sent a message that they found a devouring clan ancestor. The other party was discovered as soon as he entered the Daoshan boundary. Fortunately, the opponent's strength is not strong, just an ordinary domain ancestor, so he was captured by an elite domain ancestor in an instant. But then, the news from the interrogation from this common domain ancestor made the Zumeng panic. The headquarters of the Ancestral Alliance is located in the Xuanshu Taboo world, and the headquarters of the Ancestral Alliance is built with a single taboo void world, where many domain ancestors have been stationed for a long time. Soon, Yi Tian came here. Allies, alliance. An ancestor of the domain said respectfully. Bring up that devouring clan ancestor. Yi Tian ordered. Yes. Several domain ancestors brought the swallowing clan domain ancestors who had sealed their cultivation and threw them in front of Yi Tian. Chapter 1351 The Real Purpose of the Return of the Devourer. Leader, this is the Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor of the devouring clan. An elite domain ancestor introduced. The Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor was very frightened at the moment, for fear that he would be killed. Yi Tian stared at the Blood Rainbow Sacred ancestor and asked, listen to other domain ancestors, you are the Daoshan realm yourself, that is, the devouring clan ancestor of this realm. Yes, the Blood Rainbow Sacred ancestor said quickly. A long time ago, our devouring race occupied this place, but all the worlds were swallowed up, and we couldn't make progress, so we left this realm and entered going out of the dark forbidden realm, constantly looking for new realms or new opportunities. The heavenly ancestor, is he still alive? Yi Tian asked suddenly. Alive, and has broken through to the level of the elite ancestors. Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor said quickly. At this time, the Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor was also very helpless. At the beginning, all the creatures in this realm were wiped out, and now even if a new cultivation civilization is bred, it cannot be too powerful. Unexpectedly, he was discovered when he entered this realm, and there were a large number of realm ancestors. Along the way, he has met many domain ancestors, including top domain ancestors. If he had known that this realm was so powerful, he would not have come back alone. This realm is so powerful, it is obvious that the devouring clan that stayed in this realm was completely wiped out. Of course, he is not worried about the lives of those devourers, he is worried about himself now. You told other domain ancestors before that many domain ancestors of the devouring clan are here, right? Yi Tian asked. Yes, we want to go home, so the group of devouring clans who left at the beginning have all returned, and the strongest among them have reached the top domain ancestor level. However, we just want to go home, there is no other idea. Blood Rainbow Region ancestor quickly explained. Really? Yi Tian didn't believe the words of the ancestors of the Blood Rainbow region. If he really just wanted to go home, why did the ancestors of the Blood Rainbow region come back to investigate? This is obviously to let the ancestors of the Blood Rainbow region investigate the situation in this realm, which is a bit wrong. The ancestors of the Blood Rainbow domain were obviously worried that there would be a change in this realm, so they took the lead in coming back to investigate the situation, so as to inform the ancestors of the Swallowing Clan domain behind. And this just shows that they have a bigger plan, to devour this realm again. Do you have other ideas? Yi Tian is also very clear that the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow region can only reveal a little bit of information, and it is impossible to tell all the secrets. The key point is that the soul of the ancestors of the domain is very strong, and it is almost impossible to obtain memory information from the soul of the ancestors of the domain. If you want Yuzu to tell the real secret, you only need to use illusion or soul secret technique to control the soul of the other party and tell the secret. But it is only limited to the secrets that can be told. Some secrets cannot be told. No matter how much you use illusion, it is useless. Yi Tian knows the soul secret technique, but he is not good at the manipulation type or illusion type holy technique, and the sacred technique can only defend the soul, or launch an attack, and cannot let the Blood Rainbow domain ancestor tell the real secret. Who is good at illusion or manipulation like soul magic? Yi Tian asked other domain ancestors. At this time, the ancestors of Wanji opened his mouth and said, the ancestors of the Dark Soul and the Ghosts, these two ancestors are the top ancestors, they are better at illusion and soul manipulation. Myriad Realm ancestors, you go and invite them to control this Blood Rainbow sacred ancestor and let him tell the secret plan of the devouring clan. I always feel that the Blood Rainbow region ancestor has hidden important information and must be interrogated. Yi Tian asked. Okay, I'm going to invite them here. With your prestige, they will definitely give you face. The ancestral way of the 10,000 realms. Soon after, the ancestors of the Dark Soul Domain and the Ghost Domain ancestors came. I have seen the ally. The Dark Soul Domain ancestor and the Ghost Domain ancestor respectfully said. The ancestor of the Dark Soul Domain, the ancestor of the Ghost Domain, are you sure you will let the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow tell the real secret? Yi Tian asked. I'm sure. The Dark Soul Domain ancestor said to himself. This Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor is just an ordinary domain ancestor, and his soul is not strong. There is a huge gap in strength between us. It is not difficult for him to tell the truth by using illusions. Of course, if it involves when it comes to oaths and other secrets, there is no way for him to tell them. Ancestor Gimeyu also nodded, indicating that he was fine. Then ask the two domain ancestors to take action. Yi Tian said. Soon, the ancestor of the Dark Soul Domain and the ancestor of the Ghost Domain started to work together to perform illusion and soul domain techniques on the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow Domain. In an instant, the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow Domain was controlled. Ask them, what is the real reason for the Devourers to return to this realm? Yi Tian reminded Dark Soul Domain ancestor and Ghost Demon Domain ancestor. Afterwards, the ancestor of the Dark Soul Domain and the ancestor of the Ghost Domain began to question the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow Domain according to Yi Tian's instructions. Under the control, the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow region replied, our devouring race came to this realm with a few saints from the Dark Destruction realm. It was we who told the saints that there was a realm here. Only the sons are willing to train us to devour the clan. The saints promise that the world and the realm will be devoured by us, and they only destroy the realm. In addition, the sons are willing to give us a lot of resources suitable for the cultivation of the devourer, and even to us a powerful secret technique suitable for devouring clan to strengthen our strength. Other domain ancestors don't know what Dark Destruction Domain, but Yi Tian knows. Not long after, he had played against countless geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain, and he also killed a few saints of the Dark Destruction Domain. Naturally, he knew something about the Dark Destruction Domain. It is precisely because of his understanding that he knows the power of the Dark Destruction Domain. Just sending some strong people out there is enough to destroy this realm. Now, the coordinates of this realm are exposed, which is troublesome. Soon, the ancestors of the Dark Soul Domain and the Ghost Domain ancestors interrogated the basic situation. At this time, the sky ordered, kill him. The ancestor of Wanjiu shot directly and slapped the ancestor of the Blood Rainbow Domain to death. Seeing Yi Tian's heavy face, many ancestors of the domain asked, Leader, are you worried about those holy sons of the Dark Destruction Domain? Is the Dark Destruction Domain very powerful? Yi Tian nodded and said, you should all know the Dark Sanctuary, the Dark Destruction Domain and the Dark Saint King Li's domain are almost at the same level. The Dark Destruction Domain is the territory of the Destruction Saint clan and the 3,000 evil races. There is the source of all destruction, the real dark place. For example, the devouring race and the forbidden Zerg belong to the 3,000 evil races. And being able to become the Holy Son, even the Holy Son of the 3,000 evil race, will not be the same. No, the Dark Destruction Domain likes to destroy the realm. Although we belong to a domain under the jurisdiction of the Dark Sanctuary, if the army of the Dark Destruction Domain strikes, the Dark Sanctuary will not necessarily come to help. When many domain ancestors heard it, they immediately panicked. The Dark Destruction Domain is so powerful, aren't they equal to ants? How does this resist? It's not hopeless. Yi Tian said again. It's only the Holy Son who has arrived, not necessarily the strongest ancestor. The Dark Forbidden Domain communication is very troublesome. As long as we will come to all the devourers and the domain ancestors of the Dark Destruction Domain, if we kill them all and leave no one alive, maybe the location here will not be exposed. Chapter 1352 The Gate of Time and Space. Listen to the leader's arrangement. Many domain ancestors responded. In the face of the Dark Destruction Domain, they are powerless. Moreover, the Dark Destruction Domain is the place to destroy the Holy Clan and the 3,000 Evil Clan, and they will not have compassion for the practitioners. Even if these domain ancestors surrendered, they would not accept it. Therefore, both sides must live and die, and there is no second way to go. Soon, other domain ancestors learned that the devouring clan was about to come with the Dark Destruction Domain powerhouse, and they were all panicked. Originally, they left the God Heaven realm just to find a new realm to settle down. Unexpectedly, before it was stable for a long time, there was another major incident in the Daoshan boundary. At this time, even if you want to leave the Daoshan realm and return to the God Heaven realm, it is useless. It was not long before the realm of the gods was destroyed, and even if he went back, he would still be waiting to die. And the dark forbidden area is also more dangerous. When they migrated over before, some domain ancestors also fell. Rather than risking going back and waiting to die, it is better to fight in the Daoshan realm. At the very least, they are not without hope. The Dark Band 560 domain. In an area relatively far away from the Daoshan boundary, a group of domain ancestors flew in the dark forbidden area on a huge ship. This ship can easily resist the dark forbidden power and any strange power, and no visual hallucinations can do anything to this ship. Moreover, its speed is very fast, it is a very common means of transportation in the dark destruction domain, and it is suitable for domain ancestors to escape from the dark forbidden domain. More importantly, it also has a positioning function. Once the positioning is successful, the gate of time and space can also be opened, and the army of the dark destruction domain can come. The gate of time and space is also one of the means of destroying the Holy Clan, which is also the reason why the destroying Holy Clan can easily cross the long dark forbidden area, attack the many realms under the dark sanctuary at any time, and retreat at any time. It is precisely because of the existence of the gate of time and space that the dark sanctuary cannot help the ancestors of the dark destruction domain. Certainly, it is not impossible for the dark sanctuary to create a gate of time and space, but it is difficult to do so. First of all, the Dark Sanctuary has no ancestors of time and space dual cultivation, only a few half-step ancestors who have embarked on the path of space-time dual cultivation ancestors. However, the Dark Destruction domain has an ancestor of the dual cultivation of time and space, which can create a time and space gate that spans endless distances and transport the creatures of the Dark Destruction domain. The road of the ancestors is very difficult. Just walking on the road of the ancestors is very evil. I don't know how many evildoers can become the ancestors of the supreme domain. It is very reluctant. The road. Moreover, the path of the ancestors of time and the path of the ancestors of space are two extremely difficult paths of the ancestors, let alone combining the two paths of ancestors into one, it is even more difficult. It is precisely because of this that the Dark Sanctuary cannot create a time-space gate that spans the boundless dark forbidden territory. Of course, that means that the ancestor of the dual cultivation of time and space is not necessarily very powerful, and the ancestor of the Dark Sanctuary who is sure to kill the opponent also exists. It is a pity that the ancestor of the time and space double cultivation never came out, and the Dark Sanctuary did not dare to enter the Dark Destruction domain, otherwise it would be courting death. As time passed, the ship from the Dark Destruction domain was getting closer and closer to the Daoshan realm. On the ship, how long will it take to reach that realm? The one who spoke was the Kanshui son of the Devouring clan. The holy son of the Devouring race, Kanshui, is one of the leaders of this clan. There were also 5 holy sons of the Bone clan and the Demon Prison clan with them, a total of 6 holy children. The strength of these 6 holy sons is not ordinary. They all have top domain ancestors, and their strengths are comparable to those of the most powerful domain ancestors. They have even killed the most powerful domain ancestors. The Devouring race belongs to the weaker evil race among the 3,000 evil races in the Dark Destruction domain. Its status is not high, so there is no way to open the gate of time and space. It's been a long time, and it's a hassle to come back. With the gate of time and space, clansmen can be called to support at any time, and they can quickly withdraw to the Dark Destruction domain. Otherwise, once a realm is destroyed, if it is too late to withdraw, they will be rushed by the powerful existence of the Dark Sanctuary, and they will be dead. Therefore, without the gate of time and space, they would not dare to destroy the realm under the command of the Dark Sanctuary. Holy Son of Kanshui, there are still about 30 years left. The heavenly ancestors report, 30 years, soon, the son of Kanshui murmured. At this time, the Holy Son of Death Yu of the Demon Prison clan said, Saint Son of Kanshui, didn't the domain ancestor of your Devouring clan go to that realm to investigate? It should have arrived long ago, why is there no news yet? Come. I can't get in touch. The Holy Son of Kanshui shook his head and said, I tried to get in touch, but I couldn't get in touch. I don't know why, but according to the information passed on by our people, in that realm, they put all that the world is all swallowed up. Even if a new cultivation civilization is born, it will definitely not be very powerful, and perhaps even the ancestors of the domain may not be born. Although the strength of the Blood Rainbow Holy Ancestor is not strong, it is still the ancestor of the domain, and it should not be encountered. What a danger! Bai Wu Shengji of the White Bone clan said, It's just a realm, what are you worried about? what kind of powers can such a small realm give birth to? Even if the ancestors of the super strong realm are born, what about the ancestors of the super strong realm that we have killed more than 1 inch? 2. The other saints nodded. In fact, they were not worried about any security issues, but worried that the realm was destroyed by other people in the dark destruction realm, causing them to run for nothing. After all, there are too many powerhouses in the dark destruction domain, and they are nothing at all. If other evil clans or destroying holy clans destroyed that realm and did not share this information, they would naturally not know it, and they would probably have gone for nothing. In the blink of an eye, 30 years have passed. At this time, the Holy Son of Kanshui and the others were about to arrive at the Daoshan realm, and through special detection treasures, they detected that there was indeed a realm in the not-too-distant territory. Ha ha ha, the realm is still there, let's destroy this realm, collect the power of destruction of the realm, condense it into a crystal of destruction, then send it. Several saint sons said excitedly. Destroying the realm, condensing the crystal, the lesser saints say that the crystal is a real treasure, which is enough to exchange for a very harmonious inheritance. The purpose of their destruction of the realm is to collect the crystals of destruction and make a deal with the destruction of the holy race, which is the meaning of their existence as evil races. Chapter 1353 The Key to Time and Space. Soon after, the ship finally arrived at the Daoshan boundary. The domain ancestors of the Daoshan boundary have long condensed their incarnations to monitor all over the Daoshan boundary, and even arranged a large array to monitor the dark forbidden area nearby. Any ancestor who approached the Daoshan realm would be perceived by them. Unless they deliberately hide their breath, they can't know. But if there is no information, the domain ancestors of the dark destruction domain will not hide their breath, because there is no need. Leader, I found a ship, which is very extraordinary. It should be a ship from the dark destruction domain. I think the domain ancestors of the dark destruction domain have arrived. Wanjiu Zuhui reports. Here it is, Yi Tian said lightly. During this time, he also focused on understanding the situation of the dark destruction domain, especially the intelligence of the dark destruction domain's invasion of the realm. Knowing that the dark destruction domain likes to take ships to invade the realms, and knowing that these ships can open the door of time and space. If the ship successfully opens the gate of time and space, it will be troublesome, and the other party can send the existence of the strongest domain ancestor at any time. At that time, unless he made the powerhouses of the war gate come quickly, he would not be able to resist the powerhouses of the dark destruction domain. And the powerhouses of the war gate are likely to be unable to come over in time. Therefore, this ship must be prevented from opening the portal of time and space. Fortunately, the gate of time and space is more troublesome to open, not only requires a lot of energy, but also the opening time is relatively slow. Moreover, if they were unable to locate, they would not be able to open the gate of time and space. According to the information obtained from the war gate, a time and space key is required to open the gate of time and space. This time and space key was refined by the time and space double cultivation ancestor of the dark destruction domain. Only the destruction of the holy clan and a few evil clans have it. Such a time-space key. The ship is positioned, and the time-space key opens the time-space door. It's just unclear who owns this time-space key. If it is determined, as long as they kill him, they will not be able to open the time-space door. Yi Tian thought to himself. Of course, the opponent must be killed before the door of time and space is fully opened, otherwise it will be too late to kill him when he secretly opens the door of time and space. Wow, Yi Tian's cloned body condensed successfully. This time he let the cloned body shoot, while his main body was hidden in the dark, attacking and killing the Holy Sun holding the key of time and space at the critical moment. In this way, it is ensured that the plan is completed, and the domain ancestors of this group of dark destruction domain are completely wiped out, and there will be no future troubles. The ancestors of the 10,000 realms, gather the ancestors of the domain. This is about the safety of all the ancestors of the domain. They can't stay out of it. If anyone dares to do nothing, they will be the enemy of the ancestors. Yi Tian ordered. Leader, I will call all the domain ancestors. The ancestor of 10,000 realms responded. In this battle, even Yi Tian's relatives also fought. His relatives have now reached the perfection of the ordinary domain ancestors. If they add the secret treasures on their bodies and their own potential, as well as the holy body above Dachang, their strength is comparable to that of ordinary elite domain ancestors. It can be said that as long as you don't encounter powerful elite domain ancestors and top domain ancestors, there is no problem. For them, this is also a fighting opportunity. Whoa whoa whoa. A big domain ancestor shuttled and gathered in the Xuanshu Taboo world. Nowadays, there are many domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm. After all, many domain ancestors have migrated to the Shenshin realm. Not to mention many, there are still hundreds of thousands of domain ancestors. However, Yi Tian is still unable to know how many domain ancestors the Dark Destruction domain has dispatched, but the number will definitely not be small. After all, destroying a realm, if there are fewer domain ancestors, I am afraid that it will not be possible. Arrive. The ship entered the Daoshan boundary, and a Mingyu ancestor flew out from it. At this time, the Holy Son of Kanshui said, "According to the agreement, we must let our devouring clan devour the world here as much as possible, and when the world is completely swallowed, then you will destroy the realm, and then we will collect the destruction crystal together." Can. The other saints nodded one by one. At this time, Bai Wu Shengji said, "But when the time comes, the skeletons of the beheaded creatures above the Daozu belong to our White Bone clan. As you know, the bones of the creatures above the Daozu will be of great help to our cultivation. The souls of the practitioners belong to me." Death Yu Shengji bared his teeth. However, at this moment, the expressions of several saints' sons suddenly changed. They felt the breath of a stock domain ancestor, and there were a lot of them. What happened? The Holy Son of Kanshui looked at the heavenly ancestor and questioned. The ancestors of the sky were also stunned, and quickly explained. "Several holy sons, I don't know, when I left, this realm was swept away by our swallowing clan, all living beings died, and there was no world left. I don't know the reason why so many domain ancestors are born now. I just contacted the devouring clan here, but I also found that I couldn't get in touch. It is estimated that the devouring clan here has been wiped out." For flowers. The Kanshui saint's son's face was very ugly, and he also knew why the Blood Rainbow Saint ancestor could not be contacted, and he must have been killed by this group of domain ancestors. In other words, they are likely to be exposed, and the other party has long known that they are back, so they are gathered together one by one. However, he still didn't worry about anything. Because from the breath of these domain ancestors, he did not feel the breath of the strongest domain ancestors. As long as there is no supreme domain ancestor, the number of these domain ancestors is extraordinary. Even if there are one or two supreme strong domain ancestors, he does not take it seriously. This time, the three evil clans have brought together thousands of domain ancestors, of which the top domain ancestors alone occupy 100, and each of them is very powerful. The sharp domain ancestors in the regional borders are 1-to-1. It must be able to beat these evil races. Moreover, their 6 great sons can easily kill the top domain ancestors. It can even be said that their 6 holy sons are enough to sweep these domain ancestors. However, he was still not happy. On the other hand, the holy sons of the Demon Prison clan and the Bone clan were very happy, because the more ancestors there were, the more they could collect the bones and souls of the ancestors once they killed them, which was very helpful to their cultivation. Unexpected. A domain ancestor of the Devouring clan said, "Lord Kanshui Holy Son, we have used the time probe to investigate. There are many domains in this domain, and there is even a very powerful top taboo world." "Oh, that's pretty good." The Holy Son of Kanshui is in a better mood. There are a large number of realms in a top taboo realm. Once swallowed, it will be enough to make his subordinate's cultivation base rise a lot, and even make him go further in the top realm ancestor level. Of course, if he wants to be promoted to the strongest domain ancestor, it is still not enough to swallow the domain in the taboo world. He also needs a treasure that enhances the power of the bloodline, so that the bloodline can evolve, and the cultivation base can also evolve to the ancestor level of the strongest domain. And that kind of treasure is controlled by the destroyed Saint clan, which requires a lot of contribution value. And the contribution value accumulated by destroying a realm is still not enough, and it takes several destruction crystals of the realm to exchange for such treasures. Give you a chance to practice your skills and kill this group of domain ancestors. The Holy Son of Kanshui and several other holy sons said to him. Chapter 1354 Yi Tian has shot. The domain ancestors of the Devouring clan, the Bone clan, and the Demon Prison clan took action one after another, and they all took out powerful domain equipment, the quality of which was much better than the domain equipment in the hands of these domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm. Moreover, the domain techniques they master are also much better. However, the Devouring clan, the Bone clan, and the Demon Prison clan were not practitioners after all, and they did not follow the path of cultivation. However, these evil races in the Dark Destruction domain are not the loose cultivation demon races in those domains in the Dark Forbidden domain. Their overall strength can be much stronger, and their combat power is naturally not weak. If those devouring races in the Daoshan realm were weak in combat, No matter how many they were, it would be of no use. In addition to the 6 great saints, among the 577 domain ancestors of the Dark Destruction domain, there are also several domain ancestors who are invincible top domain ancestors, even more powerful than the 10,000 realm domain ancestors. Boom! The battle has begun. Wanji Yuzu and other top domain ancestors faced off against one of the top domain ancestors of the White Bone clan, Heijen Yuzu, and the two sides fought, almost indistinguishable. This Heijenu ancestor looks like a white bone, but his combat power is extremely powerful. His white bone can be regarded as the top domain weapon. He can almost ignore ordinary domain attacks, and his defense is really almost invincible. Zhu is even more scary. The attack of the ancestor of Wanjiu can only slightly hurt the ancestor of Heijenu, but the attack of the ancestor of Heijenu is not weak, but it can really hurt the ancestor of Wanjiu. If it hadn't been for Wanji Yuzu, Yuha Yuzu, and Fengyan Yuzu's top 3 Daoshan domain ancestors joining forces, if only one person was not the opponent of Heijen Yuzu, he would be defeated in a short time. In terms of the number of top domain ancestors, there are more than 300 top domain ancestors in the Dark Destruction domain, while there are only more than 200 top domain ancestors in the Daoshan domain, and the difference in number is more than 100. As a result, a large number of elite domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm united to compete against a top domain ancestor in the Dark Destruction domain, so they barely competed. Basically, 10 ancestors in the Daoshan realm fight one domain ancestor in the Dark Destruction domain, relying on the number of people to suppress the domain ancestors in the Dark Destruction domain. This is also no way. After all, the realm of the gods was only a medium-strength realm. Of course, at the level of ordinary ancestors and elite ancestors, the Daoshan realm is now dominant, but the top-level ancestors are completely at a disadvantage. As time goes by, if Yi Tian doesn't take action, the top domain ancestor is afraid that many people will fall. Not far away, the 6 holy sons are still watching the play. This is the top domain ancestor in the realm. Is it too weak? It is weaker than the top domain ancestor of the rumored Dark Sanctuary. It is rumored that the top domain ancestor of the Dark Sanctuary can beat our Dark Destruction domain. Several top domain ancestors, the domain ancestors of our Dark Destruction domain, have always won by numbers, but now it is the other way around. No way, this is just a small realm, how can there be any genius? At the top domain ancestor level, this realm is too weak. I don't think we need to take action. Heijen domain ancestors can kill these top domain ancestors, and then slaughter other elite domain ancestors and ordinary domain ancestors. Just when the 6 great saints were watching the play, Yi Tian's copy body shot. He also knew that the ancestors of 10,000 realms were under a lot of pressure. If he didn't take action, these ancestors would probably all want to escape. Once escaped, it would be a complete mess. As soon as Yi Tian made his move, he stared at the Heijenyu ancestor. This Heijenyu ancestor is the strongest under the 6 saints. If he kills him, it will hit the ancestors of the Dark Destruction domain, and it can also relieve the pressure on the ancestors of the 10,000 realms, and can support other domains. Ancestor. Heijenyu's strength is not weak. If Yi Tian didn't use his holy skills, he really couldn't kill him with a single blow. Then use the holy skill, it will be exposed anyway. Yi Tian said lightly. I saw that Yi Tian used the holy technique of escape and appeared in front of Heijenyu ancestor in an instant, and immediately used the domineering holy technique to bless the heaven-slaughtering spear in his hand, smashing the body of Heijenyu with one blow. However, this blow did not kill the ancestor of Heijenyu, because the life-saving thing on his body was good, protecting him a trace of vitality. But then, Yi Tian swiped his finger and used the golden thread holy technique, instantly erasing the last trace of vitality of Heijenyu ancestor. The ancestor of the Black Shock domain fell. Heijenyu's ancestor fell so fast that even the 6 holy sons did not react, so it was too late to rescue. What? Heijen has fallen. Several saints were shocked. The strength of Heijenyuzu is not weak. Although he is not a genius, he is one of the strongest beings in the world, and he was killed in an instant. That person. The eyes of several saint sons stared at Yi Tian one after another, with solemn expressions in their eyes. He is the anointed one. The holy son of Kanshui said solemnly. The other saint sons naturally saw it. Yi Tian had just used the holy skill, and they had seen the holy skill, so they naturally knew that if they could display such a powerful holy skill in the ordinary domain ancestors, they were most likely to be saints. After all, it is difficult for ordinary supreme ancestors to cultivate a holy skill, and Yi Tian is an ordinary ancestor of the domain, and he used his holy skills to easily kill the ancestors of Heijenyu. What is this, not a saint? Moreover, Yi Tian is not an ordinary saint, otherwise, he would not be able to easily kill the ancestor of He Zhenyu. How come there are saints here? The divine consciousness of the Son of Death constantly glanced around, for fear that there were invincible domain ancestors or those very powerful supreme domain ancestors hidden in the dark. After all, ordinary saints must have guards, and these 5.8 guards are at least the most powerful ancestors. Don't worry, there shouldn't be an ancestor of the strong domain around, this holy man is likely to act alone. I just used a secret technique to explore the surrounding area, there is no aura of the ancestor of the strong domain. Unless it is the ancestor of the invincible domain, only it can evade my secret art exploration. If there is an invincible domain ancestor, we can't escape no matter what. Therefore, at present, we can only expect that there is no hidden invincible domain ancestor around. The other holy son, the holy son of the underworld, opened his mouth and said. At the same time, they also had an idea, if Yi Tian was a saint who acted alone. If they killed an ordinary domain ancestral level sage, the credit would be bigger than destroying a domain. Chapter 1355 Capture the Time and Space Key. Go ahead and kill him. The son of Kanshui suggested. The other 5 holy sons nodded one by one, at this time there was nothing else they could do, they could only gamble. If the bet is won, they will rise completely. Killing the saints, in the past, they didn't even dare to think about it. The saints who have not risen and the cultivation base are still relatively low have guardians, and it is almost difficult to fall. After all, the saints represent fathers or mothers who have the ancestors of the supreme domain. With the ancestors of the supreme domain as their backing, who would dare to kill them? Therefore, unless they are unlucky, almost all of them can grow up to the level of the strongest ancestor. If it was normal, where would they have the opportunity to kill a holy gifted person? The holy gifted person would kill them almost. Boom! The 6 great holy sons shuttled over and killed Yi Tian in unison. They don't have sacred relics, and the weapons they are holding are top domain devices, but they are quite good. One holy son casts the domain technique of confinement, one holy son performs the domain technique of the soul shock type, 2 holy sons perform the domain technique of the attack type, and 2 holy sons perform the domain technique of the defensive type. Cooperate very tacitly. Yi Tian is also very dignified. These 6 holy sons are not ordinary top domain ancestors. Each of them can be regarded as the strongest domain ancestors. Although they are not very powerful, they are relatively weak. Domain ancestor is much stronger. The 6 holy sons are equivalent to the 6 supreme ancestors, and although Yi Tian can kill the supreme ancestors now, his single strength is probably not much stronger than these 6 holy children. His only advantage was that he possessed an inextinguishable holy skill and could recover from injuries very quickly. And once these 6 great saints were severely injured, it would be very difficult to recover. Indestructible holy skill, holy armor holy skill. Golden body magic. 1. Void/holy skill. A series of holy skills were displayed by Yi Tian, which completely shocked the 6 holy sons. Because in their impression, a holy son can only have 2 holy skills of the same type at most, and 3 more holy skills will be more enchanting. But now, Yi Tian has used a variety of holy skills, and they all belong to the same category. What is the situation? Could it be that there are secrets among the saints that he does not understand? Boom! The domain technique attacks of the 2 holy sons bombarded Yi Tian's body. Although they repelled Yi Tian, they did not give Yi Tian any harm, and the sole impact of another holy son was unable to shake Yi Tian's holy technique down. God. And Yi Tian's void/slashing holy skill is a perfection level space attacking holy skill, the power can be imagined how terrifying. Click. The defensive domain technique displayed by the 2 holy sons was immediately torn apart, and the virtual slashing technique slashed on the front 2 holy sons. The defensive domain device on them was immediately cracked, and the power of the holy skill began to extend into their bodies. Fortunately, the power of the holy skill was weakened multiple times, so it didn't hurt them, but it also hurt them. It's so strong. It's just a saint who is a perfect ordinary domain body. How strong is the strength? The holy son of Kanshui and the others were stunned, they couldn't believe it, this simply broke their cognition. It's not that they haven't seen the fight between the saints, but even the saints who have just broken through to the elite domain ancestor level are at this level. Next, they kept besieging Yi Tian, but they couldn't hurt Yi Tian. After all, Yi Tian has the sacred golden armor and 2 defense-type perfection holy skills. How powerful is the defensive ability? It is difficult for the 6 holy sons to hurt him, and the general injury is instantly recovered under the inextinguishable holy skills. Come over. On the other hand, their 6 great saints were injured more and more seriously at this time. Can't beat it, the holy son of Kanshui said solemnly. If they continue to fight, Yi Tian has not fallen, they will have to fall. Open the gate of time and space. After the 6 great saints communicated, they decided. Saint son of death, the key of time and space is on you. You open the gate of time and space, and let the powerhouses of your demon prison group come over. Once the gate of time and space is opened, the domain ancestors of the dark destruction domain can come at any time. At that time, unless the powerhouses of the dark sanctuary are also coming, otherwise they will not be able to keep this holy man. The son of Kanshui transmitted the sound. It is good. The son of death replied. It stands to reason that if a realm is not successfully destroyed, opening the gate of time and space in advance is not in line with the rules. After all, the cost of opening the gate of time and space is relatively high. Under normal circumstances, they destroy a realm. If they are not in danger, they do not need to open the gate of time and space, and they can slowly return to the dark destruction domain. If you encounter a great harvest, you need to ensure that you return in time before you need to open the door of time and space. Otherwise, if the gate of time and space is used indiscriminately, the dark destruction domain will not be able to withstand such consumption. It was rumored that the dark destruction domain casually used the gate of time and space, which was wrong. The one who can use the gate of time and space casually is the holy son of the destroying saint clan. They, the holy sons of the evil race, dare not waste the opportunity to use the gate of time and space. But now there is no way. If they do not open the gate of time and space, they will easily fall. Moreover, the discovery of a holy man was enough to open the gate of time and space. Not only did they not sin, but they were a great credit. Wow, the son of death instantly left the battlefield, away from here, and came to the vicinity of the ship. Immediately, he took out the key of time and space, poured power into it, and wanted to open the key of time and space. The power kept pouring in, and it only took 577 about a minute or so before he could successfully open the gate of time and space. For a minute, he didn't think anyone could stop him. Ordinary top domain ancestors, when they come, they die. Even if he is on, it is enough to exert more than half of his strength. And Yi Tian was dragged by the 5 holy sons, and it was difficult to stop him. Unless there is a hidden ancestor of the strong domain, or an invincible domain ancestor, he can definitely open the gate of time and space. Buzzing, an illusory gate of time and space emerged, and it continued to solidify. Yi Tian recognized it at a glance. This is the gate of time and space. It turns out that the gate of time and space is in the hands of this holy son. Yi Tian muttered. Just when Saint Sun Dead you thought he could successfully open the gate of time and space, an attack came. Puff, the holy skill was cut from the virtual slash, and the arm of the dead Yu Saint Sun was cut in an instant. Then, a figure quickly took the arm of Saint Sun Dead Yu and grabbed the space-time key in his hand. The opening of the gate of time and space was interrupted, and the phantom dissipated. Quote. The son of death was dumbfounded. Yi Tian. What's going on here? To Yi Tian, is this a clone? But it is impossible for the clone to have such a powerful strength, and how can the clone be able to perform holy skills? Chapter 1356 Destroy the 6 great sons and the domain ancestors. The key to time and space is in hand. Yi Tian breathed a sigh of relief. If he really allowed him to open the gate of time and space, it would really be over. At that time, he is afraid that he can only escape from this realm with the human race and his relatives, otherwise he will die. Now, the key of time and space is in his hands. As long as he does not open the door of time and space, the door of time and space cannot be opened. Return my time-space key. The son of death shouted loudly. The key of time and space cannot be lost. Although there is no blood of the demon prison, this time and space key cannot be opened, and foreigners will not dare to open the key of time and space, otherwise they will enter the territory of the demon prison. But once this space-time key is lost, there will be one less space-time key in the demon prison clan. This kind of time and space key can only be refined by the ancestor of the double time and space cultivation. Perhaps for such an ancestor, refining such a time and space key is only a momentary thing, and even a large number of time and space keys can be refined easily. However, why can their demon prison clan ask the ancestor to re-refine a space-time key? So, once lost, it is really lost forever. At that time, no matter how high his status is, his life in the demon prison clan will not be easy. But in a flash, he thought of a question. Damn, shouldn't I run away now? He was still thinking about grabbing the time and space key from Yi Tian. Isn't that courting death? Yi Tian cut off his arm with an easy blow, and the 6 holy sons are not Yi Tian's opponents. How can he be Yi Tian's opponent alone? Escape. The son of death wanted to escape. However, it is already too late. Yi Tian took out the forbidden blade, and urged the forbidden blade. No way, when his duplicate body appeared and the time and space key was taken away, the 6 great saints would definitely want to escape. It would be more difficult for him to kill a holy son. If all 6 of them escaped, he would not be able to pursue them. Therefore, a holy son must be killed quickly. And his strongest blow could not kill a holy son, he could only use the forbidden blade. These saint sons didn't know what happened in the sacred gold realm, so they didn't recognize Yi Tian. Otherwise, as soon as you see the forbidden blade, you must know Yi Tian. Die. Yi Tian held the forbidden yuan blade and blessed the tyrannical holy skill, and slashed with one knife. Puff. The forbidden yuan blade directly slashed the dead Yu saint son into 2 pieces, and his body was quickly annihilated. The son of the dead universe, fall. Not far away. The other 5 holy sons were dumbfounded, even with fear. The strength of the dead Yu Shengji is not weaker than them, but he was killed by Yi Tian unexpectedly. Escape. They dare not fight with Yi Tian anymore, otherwise they will surely die. However, Yi Tian used the holy skill at this time, 5 elements ban. Of course, no matter how powerful the ban of the 5 elements is, there is no way to completely block the actions of the 5 saints. After all, the ban of the 5 elements is not strictly a holy skill to block the void, it only has this ability. Moreover, when the strength gap is not big, the ban of the 5 elements really can't completely block the void, it can only block them. Boom! The 5 holy sons used their secret treasures, tore through the blockade, and began to flee one by one. However, their speed is not as good as Yi Tian. Yi Tian used the streamer holy technique, and the speed far surpassed these holy sons. Immediately, Yi Tian's cloned body caught up with a holy son, urging the forbidden blade to kill him with one knife. The holy son, who has no sacred object to protect himself, can't stop the yuan blade at all. However, after 2 consecutive bursts of the forbidden blade's power, cracks appeared in Yi Tian's cloned body. But he didn't care. This is the Daoshan realm. Even if the copy body falls, the forbidden blade will not be lost, and it will have no effect on him. At the same time, Yi Tian's body also stopped a holy son, only the 2 holy sons escaped a little bit. The cloned body continued to chase and kill, catching up with the Kanshui son. Don't kill me, I am the holy son of the devouring clan, if you kill me, the devouring clan will surely destroy this realm in the future. The son of Kanshui threatened. However, his words had no effect. Yi Tian's forbidden yuan blade fell, instantly killing him. The holy son of Kanshui also fell. At this time, only one holy son was left on the run. Dark forbidden area. Z fled into the inside, and accelerated desperately, showing a secret treasure that could help him escape. Almost in a short time, he could escape into the dark forbidden area far away. However, he didn't mean to breathe a sigh of relief, and was still running away quickly. Unexpected. A breath appeared not far behind him. After sensing this breath, he showed despair. Because Yi Tian caught up. At this time, Yi Tian's cloned body was already full of cracks, and he had been activating the forbidden blade for a long time, and the activation again and again was even more serious than the last time he was in the Holy Gold Realm. What's more, he is now the ancestor of the domain, otherwise he would not be able to withstand such a long battle. However, he had to kill Bai Wu Shengji, otherwise once Bai Wu Shengji escaped and returned to the Dark Destruction Realm, the Mountain Realm would really be over. Finally caught up, Yi Tian forcibly used the holy technique of empty escape, tore through the void, and appeared in front of Bai Wu Shengji. Puff! The forbidden blade tore apart Bai Wu Shengji's body and destroyed his vitality. The holy son of Baixian has also fallen. And at this time, Yi Tian couldn't keep replicating his body, his aura continued to decline, his body and soul were collapsing. Yi Tian continued to use his inextinguishable holy skills, barely keeping his body indestructible and his soul immortal, and flew towards the Dao Li Jiaojiao mountain boundary. Just when it was about to reach the Daoshan realm, this cloned body finally collapsed, and the forbidden blade in his hand fell into the dark forbidden realm. But here is not far from the Daoshan boundary, Yi Tian also knows the location and can find it later. Daoshan boundary, on the battlefield. The holy son Yi Tian stopped was also seriously injured and was dying, and he had almost no strength to fight back under his offensive. One after another holy skill bombarded the holy sun, and finally killed the opponent with the virtual slashing holy skill. So far, all the 6 saint sons have been killed. As soon as the 6 great sons died, Yi Tian began to slaughter other domain ancestors of the Dark Destruction domain. All the domain ancestors in the Daoshan realm surrounded these domain ancestors, and did not let any domain ancestors escape. Yi Tian almost killed one with one move, and thousands of domain ancestors couldn't stand Yi Tian's killing like this. Not long after, the domain ancestors of the Dark Destruction domain were all wiped out. Chapter 1357 Copy the Son of the Sun. In order to prevent some domain ancestors from hiding, Yi Tian covered the investigation with the copy talent, and confirmed that all the domain ancestors were dead, and he was relieved. In addition, Yi Tian and many domain ancestors shot together, completely destroyed the ship, and exiled the fragments into the void of the Dark Forbidden Domain. Moreover, Yi Tian asked the domain ancestors to bring all the treasures from the Dark Destruction Domain ancestors that they killed into the Zanji Tower and trade them, and none of them were allowed to be kept. If any ancestor of the domain carries treasures that can be located, it will be troublesome. Therefore, to ensure safety, all must be traded, and Yi Tian will enforce it. Whoever refuses to do so will be his enemy. Under the pressure of Yi Tian, these domain ancestors naturally did not dare not to obey. And Yi Tian also entered the Dark Forbidden area, found the forbidden blade that he had lost, and took it back. However, this matter is not over. Yi Tian couldn't guarantee that the Devouring clan was dead, or that the evil clans in the Dark Destruction domain did not have the coordinates of the Daoshan realm. Of course, it is not impossible to solve it. If you make them believe that the Daoshan boundary has been destroyed, then there is no problem. Yi Tian thought to himself. But how can the evil 577 clans in the Dark Destruction realm decide that the Daoshan realm has been destroyed, and they will not investigate the fall of the 6 great saints? There is only one way, and that is to let one of the sons go back. Copy the body. Yi Tian thought of a way. If he copied the body of one of the holy sons, he could pretend to be that holy son and enter the Dark Destruction domain. This method also has flaws, that is, he does not have the memory of any holy son. This is a loophole, but it is not a big problem. The big deal, when he copied the body of one of the holy sons, he attacked the soul of the copied body, and after the soul was confused, he opened the gate of time and space and returned to the domain of darkness and destruction. At that time, he can shirk it as a memory disorder, so his memory is lost, and he doesn't know anyone, and it will be normal. Anyway, copying the body, soul, body and even strength are exactly the same. Even if it is the ancestor of the supreme domain, it is difficult to detect any clues. When the soul's memory disorder recovers, he can also get a general understanding of some situations, so as not to reveal his identity. There is also a problem, that is, Yi Tian's cultivation is only ordinary domain ancestors, and the 6 holy sons are top domain ancestors. His strength is stronger than those of the 6 holy sons, and the ability to copy the talent and copy the body is not a strength, but a cultivation base. In the end, he can only copy the body of the ordinary ancestor, and there is no way to copy the body of the top ancestor. Unless he raises his cultivation to the top domain ancestor level, he can copy the body of any of the 6 holy children. If it is others, there is no way, but Yi Tian knows the secret technique to temporarily improve the cultivation base, only to improve the cultivation base, but the combat power cannot be improved. This kind of secret technique is very tasteless, it's just bluffing, and it can even affect one's own combat power. But for Yi Tian, this kind of secret technique is very useful, and it can be combined with the ability to copy the body, so as to copy the body of some strong people. This kind of secret technique was seen by Yi Tian in the War Realm book collection pavilion in Zanmen, and it was a little bit worse at that time, but it can be used now. Of course, this kind of secret technique will at most raise his cultivation to the top domain ancestor level, and cannot cross the level of the strongest domain ancestor. But enough. If you destroy a realm, you can condense the destruction crystal. If there is no destruction crystal, there is no way to make the evil people believe that the Daoshan realm has been destroyed. How to condense the destruction crystal? Yi Tian suddenly thought of the God Heaven realm. The God Heaven realm was about to be destroyed. If the God Heaven realm was destroyed, it would be an opportunity to condense the destruction crystal. That is to say, he can completely wait until the Divine Heaven realm falls into the great destruction of the realm, and take the opportunity to condense the destruction crystal. As for the secret technique of condensing the destruction crystal, those saint sons have it, and it is also the method of condensing the top CJFI level destruction crystal. It takes a long time to travel to the Dark Forbidden area, and it is normal for the 6 holy sons to experience tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of years in the Dark Forbidden area. Therefore, it is impossible for the Dark Destruction domain to investigate the 6 holy sons in a short period of time. Missing. So, I still have plenty of time. Yi Tian muttered. After communicating with the myriad realm ancestors, Yi Tian roughly confirmed the time when the divine heaven realm fell into the Great Destruction, which was about 100 million years away. 100 million years is a very long time for ordinary people, but for the ancestors of the domain, it is only a small retreat time, which is a very short time. But in fact, the realm of the gods may not be able to last for 100 million years. Because the closer to the time of the great destruction of the realm will attract some taboo creatures, these taboo creatures will rush into the realm to destroy, and many kinds of taboo creatures will also devour living beings, destroying everything, and their behavior in the destruction saints of the dark destruction domain and the 3,000 evil races seem to be similar. Rumor has it that some powerful forbidden creatures have settled in the dark destruction domain. They have taken refuge in the dark destruction domain, just like the forbidden holy gate can survive in the dark holy domain. The destruction of these forbidden creatures will accelerate the decline and demise of the realm. As for why the realm is about to be destroyed, why it attracts forbidden creatures, that is because in normal times, the origin of the realm is very powerful, and it is inherently repulsive to taboo creatures, so few forbidden creatures dare to approach the dark destruction realm. This is also a creature in the realm, why it is rare to see forbidden creatures. This is also a kind of protection for the creatures in the realm. Otherwise, if the forbidden creatures enter the realm casually, how will the creatures in the realm grow up, and they will die long ago. The same is true of the taboo creature that Yu took over. He usually doesn't dare to stay in the realm for long. Most of the time, he still wanders in the dark forbidden realm outside the realm, flying around the realm. Within 100 million years, at most 50 million years, the God Heaven realm is afraid that it will fall into a catastrophe. At my current speed, if I rush to the God Heaven realm, it will take about 100,000 years. Yi Tian estimated. He is not in a hurry to go to the realm of the gods, and prepares to practice for a period of time before going to the realm of gods as the son of the dead universe. The reason for using the identity of the son of the dead is because the son of the sun is in charge of the key of time and space, so he must also unlock the key of time and space as the son of the sun, so that the demon prison clan will not be suspicious. In the following days, Yi Tian began to retreat and practice. He did not attack the realm of the elite domain ancestors, but comprehended holy skills, cultivated the eternal and indestructible holy body, and tempered the soul. And just like that, 30 million years have passed. Chapter 1358. A few more holy skills have been completed. The eternal Eucharist has made some progress. Yi Tian muttered. After 30 million years of ascetic cultivation, his progress is not very big. After all, at his current level, if there is no breakthrough in his cultivation, it will be difficult for his strength to increase rapidly. Before, his eternal and immortal Eucharist reached the perfect state, and now he has made some progress in the perfect state, and he is approaching the limit of the Eucharist again. In the dark sanctuary, many geniuses have reached the perfect state, but it is very difficult to cultivate a holy body to the true limit, the kind that cannot be advanced. I am afraid that only some invincible domain ancestors have cultivated the holy body to the true limit. Yi Tian's progress in the eternal and indestructible holy body is not great, but the progress in holy skills is not small. Now, he has cultivated the holy technique of body control to a perfect state. Not only the sacred skill of the imperial body, but also the sacred skill of immortality, the sacred skill of the town, and the sacred skill of time, the eternal sacred skill. Originally, Yi Tian had only 7 perfection holy skills, but now he has 11 perfection holy skills, including the body-enhancing holy skill. Therefore, Yi Tian's current strength has improved a lot. In addition, Yi Tian's foundation is much more stable than before, the cultivation base raised by taking the ancestral medicine is no longer vain, and the soul has completely followed up, it is extremely powerful, and even the domain force has become extremely pure. It can be said that Yi Tian now has no impact on the elite domain ancestor level. However, he still wants to wait a little longer and is not in a hurry to hit the elite domain ancestor level. Yi Tian wants to cultivate to the point where he can't advance, and then go to the elite domain ancestor level, so that the foundation is deeper, the potential will be enhanced, and it will not be affected, and the future achievements will be higher. It's almost time, it's time for the cloned body to go to the realm of the gods. Yi Tian decided. Afterwards, he began to practice the secret technique that came from the war gate, the heavenly domain technique. Soon after, he comprehended the domain celestial art and began to perform the domain celestial art. Buzz! Yi Tian's aura quickly rose from an ordinary domain ancestor to an elite domain ancestor and a top domain ancestor level, but in fact his strength did not improve much, and his soul did not grow much. At this moment, Yi Tian seems to be an ordinary top domain ancestor, only has realm, but his strength has not improved much. Moreover, due to the unstable cultivation base of the top domain ancestors, the combat power displayed is not strong. It turns out that Yutianshu is like this, no wonder it didn't spread, after all, it's tasteless. Yi Tian muttered. This is like his whole body energy is 100 points, the realm is the ordinary domain ancestor, and the energy of the general top domain ancestor is also 100 points, and he has improved the realm, but the energy of the body is still so much, just put the ordinary domain ancestor's energy 100 points of energy are converted into 100 points of energy of the top domain ancestors. This kind of secret technique seems to be very magical, but in fact, the strength of the improvement is very small. Also, it has a lot of side effects. For example, after Yi Tian used the domain heaven technique, once the effect of the domain heaven technique passed, his strength would be in a very weak state. However, for Yi Tian, the combination of domain celestial arts and copying ability will be very powerful. He can completely copy the body of a holy person, so that he can have holy gifts, and then comprehend a holy skill that he has mastered. You can cultivate that holy skill to the level you master. In this way, the strength he exerts is very terrifying, and he can definitely surpass his own body. Certainly, he doesn't need to do this now, he just wants to solve the troubles in the Daoshan realm, so he can only copy the body of the dead Yu Shengji. Start copying. A body slowly formed, and finally formed the appearance of the son of the dead. Afterwards, Yi Tian let the duplicating body refine the domain artifact and the secret treasure of the dead universe saint, so that it was almost no different from the dead universe saint. Of course, if you are fighting, you can still tell Yi Tian's identity. After all, although he copied the body of the Son of Heaven, he will not be able to use the domain technique of Saint Son of Death. Go. Yi Tian personally took this replica body out of the Daoshan realm and entered the Dark Forbidden realm. Yi Tian manipulated this duplicate body to leave the Daoshan realm, while Yi Tian's body returned to the human realm, entered the time formation, and passed through the weak period at the fastest speed. In fact, no matter how weak he is, his strength can completely crush any domain ancestor in the Daoshan realm. Yi Tian quickly shuttled in the dark forbidden area with the body of the dead Yu Shengji, and while shuttled, he also began to adapt to this body. Since the holy skills that were controlled before do not fit with this body, it is difficult to display them. Ask for flowers. Of course, it is not absolutely impossible to perform, it requires a little insight and cultivation. If he can display any holy skill, the strength of his body will be much stronger. Years have passed, and in the blink of an eye, it is 100,000 years. In these 100,000 years, Yi Tian's body has only mastered a few holy skills, and it's just an entry. The holy skill does not mean that it has been practiced. If you change your soul and change your body, you only have memory, and you can master it all. In that case, wouldn't it be possible to easily create countless geniuses who can master holy skills? For example, many secret techniques can share memory, although it cannot achieve the effect of Yi Tian, but the memory is shared, and the memory of the holy technique will also be recorded. But it is useless to write it down. The process of cultivating holy skills is also a gradual transformation of the body and soul. The impact of comprehension and holy gifts on the cultivation of holy skills is too great. Domain ancestor level to practice holy skills. Yi Tian can barely grasp the entry-level holy skills, which is already incomparably evil. But Yi Tian knew very well that if he practiced with this body, he wouldn't even think about cultivating the holy skills to a small level. However, the current entry-level holy skills are enough. At that time, he will create a few more domain techniques suitable for this body, and it will be enough to exert a combat power comparable to that of the Son of the Dead universe. This day, Yi Tian finally arrived at the realm of the gods. When approaching the God Heaven realm, he found several forbidden creatures, and they were also flying towards the God Heaven realm. Obviously, the Divine Heaven realm is about to fall into a catastrophe, attracting many forbidden creatures. The smell of decay. Yi Tian felt it as soon as he stepped into the void of the Divine Heaven realm. At this time, there are still many creatures in the realm of God and Heaven, far more than in the realm of Daoshan. However, there are not many domain ancestors here. There are basically only a few loose cultivators and some new domain ancestors. They don't know how to go to the Daoshan realm, and the countless creatures under the domain ancestors don't know at all. The realm of the gods and heaven is about to be destroyed, and they are still practicing as usual. At this time, some forbidden creatures also appeared in the realm of God and heaven, and they were destroying everywhere. However, these taboo creatures are not many, and their strength is not very strong. There are still some domain ancestors in the realm of the gods, so they can still resist these few taboo creatures. Chapter 1359 The realm of the gods is destroyed. Yi Tian didn't care about the affairs of the God Heaven realm, and he couldn't care about it either. The destruction of the God Heaven realm is something that cannot be stopped. All beings who cannot become Tao ancestors are equal to no detachment. Even if they escape from the God Heaven realm, their origins are still in the God Heaven realm, will die one by one. Only the Taoist ancestors who rely on their own achievements to achieve harmony can get rid of the realm and survive outside the realm. That is to say, once the God Heaven realm is destroyed, all the Tao ancestors will be destroyed, and if they cannot leave the God Heaven realm, those Tao ancestors will also die. And how can ordinary Tao ancestors dare to enter the dark forbidden area, and they can't live for long? Even the ancestors of the domain, if they cannot enter a realm, maybe one day they will die in the dark forbidden realm. Pity, Yi Tian muttered. He is pity for the creatures of a realm, but he can't, 577, to save the creatures of this realm. Of course, Zanman has a way to extend the life limit of a realm, but the price is relatively high, even higher than the cost of creating a realm. Zanman will naturally not do it, unless it is stupid. Yi Tian didn't care about the situation in the God Heaven realm, but settled down somewhere in the world of the God Heaven realm, paying attention to the situation in the God Heaven realm, waiting for the day of great destruction to come. With the passage of time, the realm of God and heaven began to become chaotic, and the number of forbidden creatures became more and more, and the ancestors of the domain could not stop it. Moreover, these domain ancestors no longer care, but are planning to leave the realm of the gods and find life. Even if I didn't know that the divine heaven realm was about to be destroyed, but now I know it, if you are still waiting to die, it will be over. They must find it sooner, otherwise the divine sky realm will be completely destroyed, and a large number of taboo creatures will arrive, and they will not be able to escape. Some ancestors rushed out of the realm of gods and heaven, entered the forbidden area of darkness, randomly chose a direction, and looked for the place of life. But there are still some domain ancestors, who can't give up everything they have today and their relatives, and choose to stay in the realm of the gods. With the growing number of forbidden creatures, a large number of worlds are shattered. And Yi Tian also started to work, collecting some sources of the world, and killing some forbidden creatures by the way. In the blink of an eye, another 20 million years have passed. At this time, Yi Tian killed a lot of taboo creatures and collected a lot of world origins. These world origins are also a resource for the devourers. If they sneak into the dark destruction domain in the future, these world origins can be exchanged for a lot of good things. Therefore, taking advantage of this opportunity, it is natural to collect some. This day, a large number of taboo creatures poured into the divine sky realm at the same time, and there are many, many powerful taboo creatures that are comparable to the top domain ancestors. Seeing this scene, Yi Tian knew that the divine heaven realm was about to fall into a catastrophe. Boom, the realm of the gods began to vibrate, areas began to crack, and worlds were shattered. The endless power of destruction swept the entire divine heaven realm, and such a scene was simply a disaster for the people of the divine heaven realm. Countless creatures died instantly, one by one. And this is a feast for forbidden creatures. They swallowed the origin of the God Heaven realm, and some forbidden creatures could also absorb the power of destruction and strengthen their own strength. At this time, Yi Tian began to use the secret technique of condensing the destruction crystal, constantly absorbing the power of destruction around him. The top-level destruction crystals were condensed under the control of Yi Tian, and they were brought into the inner world by him one by one. Since the secret technique that Yi Tian performed is the secret technique of condensing top-level destruction crystals, and the speed is very fast, it absorbs a lot of power of destruction, and the power of destruction from a large area has poured into Yi Tian, which naturally caused a lot of damage. Forbidden creatures, attention! Some forbidden creatures also like to absorb the power of destruction, and Yi Tian does this to rob them of the power of destruction. Suddenly, a large group of forbidden creatures rushed towards Yi Tian, wanting to kill him. Trouble. Yi Tian was a little helpless. At this moment, Yi finally knows why the Kanshui Holy Sun and the Dead Yu Holy Sun brought so many domain ancestors. In fact, the strength of those domain ancestors is average, and they can't deal with a top domain ancestor level holy child together. For the Great Holy Sun, it is not much help. But they still brought a lot of domain ancestors. I am afraid it is to clean up these forbidden creatures. Otherwise, when they condense the top-level destruction crystal, these taboo creatures will disturb, then there is no way to condense the top-level destruction crystal. And the destruction of a realm takes so long. Once the time is missed, the power of destruction is completely integrated into the dark forbidden realm. In that case, there is no way to collect destruction crystals anymore. Yi Tian is not afraid of these forbidden creatures, but also does not want them to disturb him. 5 Elements Band. Yi Tian used this holy skill. For the past 20 million years, he has also managed to get started with this holy technique in the divine heaven realm. This holy skill can block the void, and naturally it can also block these forbidden creatures. Boom! These taboo creatures kept attacking the 5 Elements ban and seemed to break the ban, thus killing Yi Tian. But they gave up after attacking for a while, and after failing to break through. After all, they don't want to waste time, or else they would waste this opportunity. But in fact, if they attacked for a while longer, Yi Tian couldn't hold on any longer, and the ban on the 5 elements would definitely be broken. Seeing these taboo creatures retreat, Yi Tian breathed a sigh of relief. Then, he began to condense the destruction crystal wholeheartedly. A day has passed, 2 days have passed, 3 days have passed. In the blink of an eye, 3 months have passed. On this day, the realm of the gods and heaven was completely destroyed. There is no realm in this area. There are only some world wreckage, relics floating in the dark forbidden area, and the corpses of some ancestors, who were also besieged to death by forbidden creatures, floating in the dark forbidden area. And Yi Tian also stopped condensing the destruction crystal at this time, because the power of destruction is gone, there is no way to condense it anymore. At this time, Yi Tian stared at those forbidden creatures. These forbidden creatures also looked at him, as if they wanted to kill him. Yi Tian took out a blood spear, which was the top domain device of the Son of the Dead, and now it is also the weapon that replicates his body. Domineering Holy Skill, turn it on. Luguang Holy Skill, turn it on. Yi Tian rushed into the taboo creatures and showed a formidable strength, even stronger than the original son of Yu. Puff puff. Heads of taboo creatures died in Yi Tian's hands, and even those taboo creatures at the top domain group level were not Yi Tian's opponents and were killed one by one. There are no forbidden creatures at the ancestor level of the strongest domain, so there is no forbidden creature that can stop Yi Tian. Soon after, the forbidden creatures were also frightened and fled one by one. And Yi Tian put away the corpses of these forbidden creatures and left here immediately. Chapter 1360 successfully infiltrated the demon prison clan. After 100,000 years, Yi Tian's cloned body returned to the Daoshan realm. Even if he sneaked into the dark destruction realm, he still needed the cooperation of his body, so he had to come back. When the cloned body returned, Yi Tian left the Daoshan realm with the cloned body, and stayed away from here to prevent problems, which would then spread to the Daoshan realm, which would not be very good. In a dark forbidden area that is very far away from the Daoshan boundary, Yi Tian came here with the cloned body. Start planning. Yi Tian muttered. He also doesn't know whether this plan will be successful. If it is successful, it will not only solve the fear of Daoshan realm, but also gain a lot of benefits and even some useful information from the dark destruction realm. If he fails, then he will lose a duplicate body, and it will have no effect on him. Here we go. Yi Tian started to perform a soul attack on the cloned body. He specially cultivated a secret technique from Zonman that can cause confusion of the enemy's soul and loss of memory, soul chaos. This secret technique is very popular in the dark holy domain, but it is relatively difficult to cultivate. It requires a domain ancestor with a higher soul talent than 29 to practice. And Yi Tian naturally practiced it easily, and now he can use it on his cloned body. Attacking himself was weird, but he had to do it in order to plan. Boom! Yi Tian used the Chaos Soul Art to bombard the souls that duplicated the body. Ah! Pain came, as if the soul was torn apart. Immediately, the soul that copied the body began to be confused. At the same time, Yi Tian held the sky slaughtering spear and kept attacking the duplicate body, making the duplicate body look like he was severely injured. Then, the cloned body continued to use various secret techniques to escape, making the injury more and more serious. This way, it's more real. Soon after, the cloned body began to activate the time-space key. On the other hand, Yi Tian's body had already left this area. He didn't want to be discovered by the powerhouses of the demon prison clan after the gate of time and space was opened, and the body would be finished. Buzzing. The gate of time and space is getting more and more solid, and the disorder of the soul of the copy body is getting more and more serious, and the injuries on the body are getting more and more serious. Soon, the gate of time and space was completely formed. And Yi Tian also drilled into the other end of the gate of time and space. He grasped the timing very well, After passing through the gate of time and space, he immediately fell into a deep sleep due to the disorder of his soul. Dark Destruction Domain, Demon Prison Clan, Wind Demon City. This is one of the 10 great ancestral cities of the Demon Prison Clan, and there is a gate of time and space in Wind Demon City, which was obtained from the Destruction Saint clan at a huge price. Now, the gate of time and space has been opened. It shows that in a distant place, the people of the Demon Prison Clan who held the key of time and space opened the door of time and space. Outside the gate of time and space, one after another Demon Prison Clan elites were stationed here, and when Yi Tian shuttled over as the son of the dead, he was immediately discovered by the Demon Prison Clan's domain ancestors. It's the son of the dead Yu. No, the son of the dead Yu is dying of serious injuries, please call Lord Fengmo. The ancestors of the Demon Prison Clan panicked. The identity of the Son of Death is not ordinary. He is one of the many descendants of Lord Fengmo, and he is a very talented descendant. Otherwise, he would not be eligible to obtain a space-time key. Soon, Yi Tian was sent away for treatment, and several supreme ancestors of the Demon Prison Clan passed through the gate of time and space and went to the opposite side to check the situation. If they found the enemy, they would immediately kill them. However, they shuttled past, but found nothing. The gate of time and space exists for a limited time, and if it is maintained, it will cost a lot. As a result, the Demon Prison Clan closed the gate of time and space. Wind Demon City, City Lord's Mansion. The ancestor of the Wind Demon region was very annoyed, even furious. As the City Lord of one of the 10 great ancestral cities of the Demon Prison Clan, his status in the Demon Prison Pearl is not ordinary. He is an invincible domain ancestor, and he is not weak among the invincible domain ancestors. And the Demon Prison Clan is also ranked among the top 100 among the 3,000 evil clans. It is conceivable that his status in the Dark Destruction Domain is also relatively high, and he has dominated the Dark Destruction Domain for endless years. Now, one of the heirs that he valued more, the son of Yu, was severely injured and almost died. However, what he didn't know was that his son had long since perished, but the distance was too far, and it was difficult for him to know his son's life and death even in the arrogant secret treasure. Even at the moment Yi Tian came back, many treasures that originally belonged to the son of the dead would automatically consider Yi Tian to be the master, because under the approval of the origin of the Dark Destruction Domain, Yi Tian's cloned body was the son of the dead. How is my son? The ancestor of Fengmu asked a supreme ancestor who was good at treating injuries, the ancestor of Qingmu, and asked. Lord Fengmo, Saint Son Death Yu's injury is almost healed, the key is the soul problem. 1. Aoki Yuzu hurriedly said, soul problem? The ancestor of the Wind Demon Domain frowned, this is not a small matter, once the soul is involved, it is a big problem. Lord Fengmo, the son of the dead Yu was severely damaged by the soul chaos art. It should be a domain ancestor who encountered the dark holy universe. The soul needs a long time to recover, and some memories will be lost. If the recovery is not good, I'm afraid it will affect a little soul potential. Aoki Yuzu explained. Crazy soul art, damn it. The ancestors of the Wind Demon Domain also know this secret technique, a very terrifying secret technique, but it is very difficult to cultivate. Even in the Dark Sanctuary, there are very few people, and even fewer are proficient in the domain ancestors. The domain ancestor who can severely damage his son is afraid that he is a strong domain ancestor. It has to be said that his son was very lucky to be able to save his life. Lord Fengmo, the son of Suyu, went out with several saints from the Devouring Clan and the Bone Clan, and now only the son of Suyu has returned, and the other saints are afraid that they will perish. This matter may be a little troublesome. Aoki Yuzu reminded. You don't need to worry about this matter, I'll handle it. The ancestor of the Wind Demon Domain waved his hand and said. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tian has come to the Dark Destruction Domain Demon Prison ancestor for 10,000 years. During these 10,000 years, he has been recovering his injuries and treating his soul injuries. By the way, he has learned about the situation of the Demon Prison Orb and the identity of the Son of Death. Through understanding, he is also familiar with some things about the dead Yu Shengji, and he can basically do it without revealing his secrets. Moreover, he lacks memory. Even if he forgets something familiar, the people of the Demon Prison race will not say anything. In addition, Yi Tian handed over Destruction Crystal and reported that they had destroyed a realm, but when he returned later, he encountered a group of supreme ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary, and the other holy sons were killed, only he narrowly escaped. The people of the Demon Prison Clan naturally believed it, and this matter came to an end. The Destruction Crystal that Yi Tian handed in also allowed him to obtain a lot of contribution points. These contribution points can be exchanged for many resources, treasures, and even inheritances from the Destruction Saint clan. In the 10,000 years he stayed in the Demon Prison clan, he also had a preliminary understanding of the strength of the Dark Destruction domain. After understanding it, he realized how terrifying the strength of the Dark Destruction domain is.